What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Wednesday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Appreciate you making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online, sportstalk1051.com, your smart speakers, smart devices like your Alexa devices, the app, download it, take it on the go, and, of course, the video stream that is up and rolling this morning. What do we have on our game plan? What are we going to be hitting up? What are we going to be chatting about here? Brewers, quite the day yesterday for the Brew Crew. Doubleheader against the St. Louis Cardinals, and, well, they come away with wins in both their games. Game one yesterday, 4-3 victory for the Brewers after Cardinals jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. Brewers able to make another come-from-behind victory. Christian Yelich having himself a day in Game 1, 3 for 5 with a couple of doubles. Jacob Izarowski picking up his 10th win of the season, going 7 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, and 11 strikeouts. So Brewers picking up a Game 1 victory, and then the nightcap, Game 2, Brewers 10-2 victory. Robert Gasser with a spectacular performance, nearly pitching 8 innings yesterday. He went 7 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, striking out 4. But Brewers putting up a big old 10 spots, highlighted by 7 runs in the top of the 7th inning for the Crew. And Brewers able to sweep the doubleheader yesterday. So Luis Lara making his Major League debut in Game 2 last night, picking up his first hit and first couple RBIs. So got to see him in action. Brewers thinking a lot of him too, batting in that second spot in the lineup last night. So, but lots to recap from yesterday's games, and then taking a look ahead to tonight's game, Game 4 of this series. And they got another one coming up here tomorrow too. But the Brewers have had the Cardinals' number so far this season. Cardinals probably would like nothing more than just for the Brewers to go away at this point. But we got Kyle Harrison slated to get the start tonight for the Brewers. He's looking to improve to 9-1 on the season. McGreevy's going for the Cardinals. So, again, lots to hit up. We'll talk about Luis Lara. We'll talk about the pitching. Starters going deep yesterday where the Brewers didn't really have to use a whole lot out of their bullpen. I mean, that was a magnificent job by both Mizarowski and Robert Gasser. And, you know, give him credit, too. Joey Ortiz had a good day yesterday from the offensive side. He had a good day yesterday. We'll break that down for Joey Ortiz as well. So, yeah, lots to hit up for this Brewers team, who is now, when you look at where things are standing, if you're kind of looking at the standings in the NL Central, Brewers holding on to a 7-game lead over the Chicago Cubs, and the Cardinals are now 10.5 back from the Brewers for first place in the Central. Cardinals 2 games back from that final wild card spot, if you're kind of paying attention to that stuff. So Brewers, second best record in the National League. Just 2 wins behind the Dodgers. Both the Brewers and the Dodgers have the same amount of losses at 33, but Brewers holding on to the second best record also in all of baseball. So we got that on the docket. We've got, Bucks made another trade yesterday, really kind of selling off some of their players. Gary Harris, Brewers. Middleton back at the Wizards. I just saw that pop up here too. But anyways, Prince and Gary Harris from the Bucks going to the Detroit Pistons for Karis LeVert and 2 future second-round picks. So, again, kind of selling off right now, which is probably no surprise at this point in time. So, but, I don't know if anybody Bucks fans, Hoops fans really care about it at this point in time, especially this point in the season. So, but I had to throw it out there. So, football-wise, we'll continue our countdown to training camp for the Pack. We'll take a look at some of the top storylines and the top things to watch as we get closer to training camp. Yesterday, we talked about running backs and Josh Jacobs. So we'll hit up another topic coming up here in just a little bit. 8 o'clock hour, we're going to catch up with Ty from Slab Factory. It's been a couple weeks here, so we'll do a little Inside the Hobby chat with Ty from Slab Factory coming your way at 8 a.m. And as always, if you have a question for Ty, send them on over. Ty would love to help answer some of your questions in the card collecting world. So if you got a question, I always got questions, and sometimes I think they're dumb questions. So don't feel like there is such thing as a dumb question, but send those puppies on over so we can get those to Ty as well. So since it is Wednesday, it is a What If Wednesday. So give me your best what if scenario so we can throw it out to the rest of the listeners. Just have some fun with this. A sports what if. Okay? Best ones. Send them on over. We'll throw it out for the rest of the listeners to participate as well. And it is a What Are We Doing Here Wednesday. What's your sports? What are we doing here? Like, what's a sports story thing that's currently out there? Whether it's from fan talk or an actual, news bit or however you kind of want to describe it, where you kind of say, what are we doing here? Send them on over too. Share with the rest of the class so I could throw it out there. All right, so I'll get to mine coming up a little bit later on. So we got that and plenty more, and wherever else the conversation may lead us to. All right, you got some questions, you got some topic ideas. Feel free to send those on over whenever you would like. But let's get things going here this morning on the leadoff. Let's jump right into it. We got Brewers to talk about. A good day yesterday for the Brew Crew, sweeping the doubleheader, a 4-3 victory in Game 1, and then a 10-2 victory in Game 2. Luis Lara making his Major League debut in Game 2. Joey Ortiz having himself a nice day. Christian Yelich. What did Pat Murphy have to say about Christian Yelich and his recent struggles? Very high ringing endorsement from Pat Murphy about Christian Yelich, which probably shouldn't be too big of a surprise, but we'll tell you what he had to say about Yelly after Game 1 yesterday, too. So lots of Brewers chat to get through here. Let's jump right to it. We'll take our first break, and then we've got the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Summer is here. We are right in the middle of it, and that means it is time to hit the road in something that you love, something that you enjoy. Where do you go for that, though? At Toyson Ford. That's where you go because you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Are you looking for power? How about comfort? Maybe reliability. Hey, they've got it all, backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure that you are riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. Brew Crew get the honors in our leadoff this morning, which, I mean, let's be real, they've gotten the honors here quite a bit as of late this summer. But another good day, another great day, another fantastic day for the first place team in yesterday's doubleheader. If you missed it, well, let's recap it here really quick. In game one, Jacob and Mizorowski, raise your hand if you're like, oh no, what's going on with the Miz kid? I'll be honest, right away, I'm like, oh no, are we gonna have another day, another game, I should say, where maybe things kind of struggling a little bit there, especially home run in the first inning by Walker. I mean, by the way, this Walker cat. Jordan Walker, frustrating player when you go up against him. But limiting the damage, Brewers able to take the lead back, or tie it up in the third. Cardinals taking it back, but thanks to runs in the sixth and the seventh, Brewers able to put Jacob Mizorowski in line for the win. And they were able to hold it down. Aaron Ashby going an inning. And Uribe picking up his sixth save of the season. Mizorowski's final line, 7 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks in 11 Ks. Did give up a couple of home runs, though, in yesterday's contest. So that's back-to-back games now where Jacob Mizorowski has given up a couple of long shots in each of those games. Maybe something to kind of watch here just a little bit. But nonetheless, I mean, he's still 10-4 in the season with a 1.62 ERA and another performance where he had double-digit strikeouts. I mean, so far this season, the man has 167 strikeouts, okay, in 18 games. 18 games, he has 167 strikeouts. That's averaging a little over 9 strikeouts per game. Can he get that average to over double-digit strikeouts a game? Maybe. Something to watch. Something to kind of watch here. So, but, I mean, you look at that line, you take that any day of the week. Jacob Mizorowski, I think, is just, we've talked about it before a few times. He is setting the bar so high that even just a little bit of a down performance, you're like, oh, man, what's wrong with him? It's kind of like Aaron Rodgers at his peak, where Aaron Rodgers set the bar so high from a talent, from a play standpoint, and that if it was just a little bit down, you're like maybe being overcritical and overanalyzing things and such. But Christian Yelich in game one, 3 hits with a couple of RBIs, big RBIs for Christian Yelich in yesterday's game too. So and Pat Murphy, he acknowledged, Christian Yelich not playing that great, and Yelly knows that too, but a ringing endorsement from Pat Murphy yesterday about Christian Yelich. When he was asked about his game yesterday, he said he hasn't been doing well, and he takes that burden very seriously. He came to the park with us today at 7:30 in the morning, so write that down because people got to know how much this kid cares about the team and about the Brewers. He feels awful that he's not producing at the rate of 30 homers and 100 RBIs like he did last year. He feels awful about it, and he's working his tail off. And to come up today and do what he did, I'm just really proud of him. 3 hard contacts in the first inning he did after the game and then the first thing he did after the game is said, Murph, don't rest me. I want to play the second game. And that's a sign of a guy that's hungry. And, yeah, I mean, we talked about Yelich yesterday and his struggles as of late. You just want to be able to see him, consistently put that together. And in game 2, Did strike out a couple times. Did have an RBI. But you want to be able to see him consistently be a threat up at the plate. So, in Game 2, though, Robert Gasser getting the start for Game 2, and he was awesome as well. 7 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. And the Brewers only had to use one bullpen arm to finish it off. Greg Yoho going for 1 1/3, not giving up a hit and striking out 1. What Mizorowski and Robert Gasser did in a doubleheader to go the length that they did and not have to use a lot of bullpen arms, that was a big, big, big boost to that bullpen, to that pitching staff. To see those two go as long as they did and help out their fellow pitchers, I think was, you take that 8th day of the week, and the Brewers had to be excited and pumped about that. That bullpen is still in really good shape here for the next few games leading into the All-Star break. But Luis Lara making his career debut yesterday, batting in that second spot, getting the start in center field, and picking up his first hit, a couple of RBIs as well. You really saw the speed from Luis Lara when he took that walk, and then it was Terang that hit that double. I mean, if you were watching or you watched some of the highlights of that, to see his speed around the base pass to go from first to home, I mean, you can see why this guy had double-digit steals already in the minor leagues, over 20 steals in the minor leagues, and why he can cover so much ground in the outfield. I mean, that guy has got a ton of speed, and you saw it on full display in that play. So, but Garrett Mitchell didn't get the start. Sal Frelick, I'm going to keep bringing it up, but a couple games from him yesterday, not the greatest. Come on, Salvatore. We need you, bud. We need you, bud. Gotta figure it out here, but nonetheless, you take the win. But how about Joey Ortiz? Let's give some love to Joey Ortiz yesterday, because not only did he have him, numbers wise was good in both games, but he picked up another home run in Game 2, and then in Game 1, Joey Ortiz collected 3 hits. In his last 19 at-bats, Joey Ortiz is hitting .421. Guys, get this. In his last 30 games, Joey Ortiz is hitting .278. So if you want a bigger sample size, his last 79 at-bats, he is hitting .278. His last 15 games, .289. And his last 7, .421. I don't know if a change of position, from being the primary shortstop, move it over to third, if that has kind of changed things here a little bit. But we got to give him a tip of the cap for what he is doing offensively here as of late. To see Joey Ortiz actually producing from the plate is such a welcome sight. It's huge. I don't know if this is going to be something that's going to be sustained. I don't know if it was just a simple position change. If he's a little bit more relaxed, he's not pressing as much, maybe just building confidence at the plate. But you got to give credit to where credit's due. And Joey Ortiz has been under the microscope, and we've called him out a lot. Cooper Pratt, would it be called up probably at this point if Joey Ortiz was producing at the plate? And he's going to continue to get more reps with David Hamilton placed on the injured list. But David Ortiz he's getting the job done. And you got to give him a ton of credit for what he's doing. I mean, he has been making some masterful plays at third. We know about the defense, but it's almost like even some of his defensive plays have been a little bit more magical and jaw-dropping and just amazing. So maybe this is where he's most comfortable at. I don't know. But we'll take it, won't we? We'll absolutely take it right now. Love it. Keep her going, man. Keep it going. So, Brewers, again, taking 2 games yesterday. Both games, they improve on the season 58-33. 58-33. Improve their road record here, too, to 29-15. 29-15. Improving their record against 500 teams to a whopping 30-17. If you look at that across Major League Baseball, that is the most wins against teams who have a 500 or better record. The Brewers have the most wins against teams who have, let me rephrase that. Let me repeat that. The Brewers have the most wins against teams who are 500 and better. 30-17. 14 games above 500 on the road. Their numbers right now are very comparable to what the Dodgers are doing. Man, it's hard not to get too. It's hard not to get excited about this team. I know we got All-Star break coming up, and that's kind of the little over the halfway point. But everybody kind of turns at the halfway point, and you got the trade deadline coming up, and it's going to be a race to the finish here. But man, how do you not try to put your eggs in this basket? And I'm ready to be disappointed again, maybe in the postseason. But gosh, this team. This isn't supposed to happen, but something's brewing, man. Something's brewing in Brewtown. Let's take a look at Game 4. We get Kyle Harrison on the mound. We got to take a quick break, though, before we do that. So, we got to pay some bills here. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll preview Game 4. Kyle Harrison on the mound looking for his 9th win on the season. We'll hit that up. Coming up after these quick words. Summer is here, and that means it is the absolute perfect time to give your home a fresh new look with the help from Carpet City Flooring Center right here in Eau Claire. Whether you are updating a family room, finishing a basement, refreshing a bedroom, or finally tackling that remodeling project you have been putting off, Carpet City Flooring Center has the flooring options you are looking for. From beautiful luxury vinyl planks like the Rigid Max flooring, or carpet, tile, and more, you will find products and expert guidance every single step of the way. Their experienced team will help you find the right flooring to fit your style, your budget, and with professional installation available, your project can be completed quickly and correctly. Make this the summer you transform your home. Stop on into Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today and discover why so many area homeowners trust Carpet City Flooring Center for all of their flooring needs. All right, let's chat some. Well, let's continue to chat some more Brewers, right? Shall we? Brew Crew tonight, Game 4 of this series. We've got Kyle Harrison on the mound. Dude should probably be in the All-Star game. Just saying, just throwing that out there. But nonetheless, he can go out there and keep proving why he should be in the All-Star game. But looking at the matchups here, we've got McGreevy going for the Cardinals, but Kyle Harrison, a little bit of experience going up against some of the Cardinals lineup here, but 8-1 with a 2.82 ERA so far this season. And he did play the Cardinals, or did go up against the Cardinals back on the 26th of May, where he went 6 innings, giving up just 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and struck out 2. He picked up the win in that contest. Whereas you look at Michael McGreevy, who is 3-7, but has a 3.12 ERA so far this season. He went up against Milwaukee in that same day, where he went 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, did have 6 strikeouts. So Brewers offense kind of had their way against him earlier on in the season here. So you would think the pitching matchup kind of favors the Brewers here. But McGreevy's coming off of a loss against Atlanta back on the 1st of July, where he went 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. June, he was 0-2 with a 3.41 ERA. He had one, when you really kind of look at his games in June, he had one bad game against Kansas City on the 19th where he gave up 5 earned runs. Otherwise, he's gone 6 innings, given up 2 earned runs. The first 3 games in June, and then the last game in June against Miami, he went 6 innings, no earned runs. So, he's really, when you kind of look at it, averaging about 6 innings per contest and not giving up a ton of runs, maybe just a couple of earned runs. So, Kyle Harrison is kind of the same thing. He's coming off of one of his, poorer performances against Arizona back on the 3rd. He went 2 2/3, giving up 3 earned runs and striking out 3, but he was up to 72 pitches in that contest. So looking for a little bit of a bounce-back performance from Kyle Harrison, no doubt about it, for tonight's game. But Brewers have already at least secured the series win, winning the first 3 games in this series. They can get another one tonight here. And why? Again, Harrison on the mound, who's been having a spectacular season. That's the expectation, isn't it? When he's up there, kind of like Mizorowski, you're probably feeling pretty darn good, and you're probably feeling your chances of getting that W are pretty high. I would expect nothing less but a bounce back performance from Kyle Harrison since we last saw him on the 3rd. That's my expectation. You'd like to see him, if he can continue, maybe at least get 6 innings. Bullpen is fairly healthy, fairly rested. I would imagine Trevor McGill's going to be available if it gets to that point tonight where it's another close game. But I would think a lot of guys are going to be available in that pen, but hopefully we don't have to go into the pen early in this game. Hopefully Harrison's able to at least go 6, and put the team in a position to win this ball game, and pick up his 9th win on the season before heading into the All-Star break. Going back to Luis Lara, though. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm really interested to see how the Brewers kind of figure out this outfield rotation now with him, because he did get the start in center field over Garrett Mitchell, but I mean Garrett Mitchell has been playing some really good baseball as of late, and I don't know if you can afford to sit him down a whole lot just to get Lara. Nothing against Lara, but I mean, you kind of want to play the hot bats, and Mitchell has been playing really well from the offensive side here. I do wonder a little bit about Salvatore Frelick here going forward. Just offensive side of things, he had a good month of June. It has not been a good start to the month of July for Sal Frelick so far. I love that guy. I love how he plays, but if you can't produce from the plate, you got to put guys in that lineup that are going to be able to produce for you. And I think if you call up Luis Lara, who's already under contract for 7 years, we know this, you're going to want to play him more times than not. You just have to. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Brewers kind of manage or figure out this outfield rotation, because sure looks like, I mean, Lara played a little bit in right field after Garrett Mitchell came in the game last night, and that's the thing too. If that out, and even with Frelick, that Brewers team's they've got some speed in that outfield, don't they? Oh, holy moly! By the fun part of last night, see if you did see it, Jackson Chourio. So Cardinals last night, position player pitching. Jackson Chourio goes up there and bats left-handed. Puts on Jake Bauer's helmet. Goes up there and bats left-handed. First pitch, what'd they say, 360 feet? No, was it 360 feet? I thought I saw. Let me double check that. But I mean, dude, it was a sweet swing. Yeah, 360 feet. First pitch, hitting the left-handed. Apparently, it was, according to Sophia Minard yesterday, it was kind of Willie Contreras pushing him and egging him on. Chourio, after the game, said, they asked me before if I wanted to try hitting left-handed. I told them, yeah, I had fun doing it. One of the most important parts of this game is to just have fun. Thanks to God, it was a pretty good contact there. Pat Murphy saying after the game, too, he looked good. It was the first time he's swung the bat left-handed in years, he said, but he looked really good. He's an athlete. He's a baseball player. So, yeah, don't expect that to be a thing. I don't think it's going to develop into Jackson Chourio all of a sudden being a switch hitter, but I guess never say never. But all of us have tried that before, right? I mean, even the kids that I help coach in Little League and that, once in a while, they're like, can we hit left-handed and that? Gotta have fun. I mean, Jackson Chourio was having fun, big smile on his face from that. Even the sliding catch that he had after that, too. It's like, slip and slide out there, man. But, all right. We got to take our final break for the first hour as we start to wrap up that first hour. But, hey, don't forget, send me your what-ifs. It's a What-If Wednesday. Give me a sports scenario, a sports take, a sports thought where you'd be like, just, what if this happened? What if they did this? What if what if that were the plan? What if? Send me those on over, or send those on over to me, and then give me your what are we doing here? I'll get to mine coming up a little bit later on here. So We'll take our final break for this hour. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Summer cookout season is here, and nobody does summer grilling better than Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From premium steaks and fresh burgers to brats and chicken, you will find quality and value throughout the store. Before your next cookout, make sure you stop by Mike's Star Market and stock up on the freshest ingredients around. You can visit them today at 2238 Heimstead Road. Make sure you follow their Facebook page as well. Mike's Star Market, helping make every summer gathering a delicious one. We'll kick off the next hour continuing to chat, or I should say continue our countdown to Packers camp, taking a look at some of the bigger stories heading into camp, or the biggest question marks, biggest things to kind of follow and that. So we'll hit that up coming up just past 7 o'clock this morning. 8 o'clock, we'll catch up with Ty from Slab Factory. So if you got any questions for Ty, please feel free to send those on over. The Hall of Famer G-Man chiming in, saying, DK, way to go Brewers yesterday. Tonight the Brewers will beat the Cardinals, and the final score will be Brewers 6, Cardinals 2. All right. Good morning to Barb and Zach on the Section 105 chats and our YouTube, Facebook, or our video stream as well. So good morning to the fine folks over there as well. But a couple more texts to get to here. This is from Ben. Ben saying on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line this morning that Mizorowski and Robert Gasser were awesome last night, not asking the bullpen to stretch themselves out. They were fantastic. Hopefully this means Robert Gasser can stay with the ball club. I know he was the 27th player call-up yesterday, but, I mean, you look at Robert Gasser, and, I mean, that performance yesterday, and there was another performance, too, where you can kind of look at like that was vintage Robert Gasser from what we saw before he had Tommy John surgery, right? And you look at what he's done in his last couple of games here for the Brewers. I mean, is he pitching his way to staying on this ball club? You know, ever since that June 9th game against the Athletics, and this was the Athletics, right? Or, you know, maybe gives him a little bit of leeway there, where he gave up 6 earned runs. He's followed that up by going up against Cleveland, 5 2/3, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, no earned runs. And Atlanta, where he went 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Cincinnati, 5 2/3, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. And then last night, 7 2/3, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts. All right. Robert Gasser has entered the chat. Maybe for some more opportunities to start. He would have to be added back on because he was just the 27th call-up. But, I mean, you know, with Woodruff going to be missing some time, Logan Henderson is coming back. But Robert Gasser is making it kind of an interesting call here for the Brewers. And I don't know if it's because maybe the Brewers have quite a few lefties when you look at it, because Harrison's a lefty, Robert Gasser's a lefty. I mean, then you kind of look at some of the other options here. Brandon Sproat's on here is a righty at least. Shane Drone's a lefty. So, do they want 3 lefties in that starting rotation? Or maybe just a couple at the most? But, you know, Shane Drone, Robert Gasser, they got options, man. They got options. And if these guys continue to pitch at that level, if Robert Gasser pitches at the level that he did last night, maybe the Brewers don't necessarily have to go out there and find another starter. A couple more texts here. Joey Ortiz definitely looks more comfortable at third base and comfortable at the plate. Maybe it was something as simple as shifting him back to third base. I don't expect him to continue to hit over 400, but if he can consistently bat 250 to 270, that is a major boost in production from the third base position. That comes from Kevin on our Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Yeah, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Joey Ortiz, you got to tip your cap. The guy is playing a lot better. He is producing from the plates. He's giving you some production. I mean, you look at it, his last 79 at-bats, his last 30 games, he's hitting 278. Break it down a little bit further. 15 games, 289. 7 games, 421. I was actually looking at the depth chart on the Brewers for third base. Joey Ortiz, Andrew Vaughn, and Sal Frelick. That's what they have listed on there. So they do still have Sal Frelick on there, and they do have Andrew Vaughn listed on there. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. So, but I don't think we'll see Sal Frelick get a lot of chances at third. Maybe if Ortiz kind of continue, if he goes back to struggling, I don't see that. I can't see that happening in the middle of the season here. So, anyways, plenty more Brewers chats to get to here throughout this morning. But if you've got any more thoughts on it, on the Brew Crew, Robert Gasser, Joey Ortiz, Jacob Mizorowski, Christian Yelich, send them on over. All right, you can text it to us on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the Section 105 chat room. Zach says, what if the Brewers didn't lose to the Dodgers last year in the playoffs? Do they go on to win the World Series? Sure, why not? Dodgers Blue, it would have been what? Brewers Blue Jays? Ooh, that would have been tough, man. That series went to 7. That would have been tough. I don't know. That's a good one. I'm going to say no. I'll say no. It's a good question, though. You kind of forget that series, how close that series was last year between Dodgers and Blue Jays. I think we kind of forget how just like tight, how close, how good of a series it was. It was a very competitive series. But the fact that the Dodgers won, I think people just kind of, oh, yep, Dodgers won it again. But it was a really good series when you kind of think back on it. All right, keep those coming. We're going to finish up the first hour here with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
What's a good word, Kasper?
I got nothing.
Yeah, you do. If you had to pick a word of the day.
I don't really.
Disgruntled?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You have a disgruntled look on your face.
Yeah.
All right, Wednesday wild card. You got to spin the wheel of fun, and whatever we land on, you have to answer for the class today. Totally random, 1 through 32.
Let's go 32.
If you could witness any event in the future, what would it be?
Oh, in the future?
In the future. Like retirement.
Well, I would hope I'd witness retirement.
Is there something you would really like to Packers Super Bowl?
Well, yeah.
Something like that?
Probably a Brewers World Series.
Okay, so that would be your sports event that you would want to. Brewers World Series. If you had to throw a dart at a calendar, what year project? What year would you land on for the Brewers likely going to a series?
2026. How about that? We'll keep the optimism.
Woo! Immediate. Then you can retire? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Who is a competitor that you secretly admire and why? Another sports guy that you admire. Like, who do you go to for your sports stuff?
Who do I go to? I'm a big fan of Rich Eisen, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like about him?
I don't know, just the way, I mean, he's not hot take-ish. He has fun, intelligent, smart. So, yeah, I'd probably go Rich Eisen.
Okay.
Although I am thinking about reading, I'm not a big fan of his, but I'm just curious how he all got started as Dave Portnoy from Barstool.
Uh-huh.
He's got his memoir out.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking about reading it. I'm not the biggest fan, but just how he started from a free newspaper to how Barstool Sports has exploded.
I sometimes read books that I don't think I'm going to be interested in, or of people that I don't particularly like, just because I'm curious about their story and process. So sometimes I end up liking people more. Once you learn more about them or their origin story, it becomes more interesting.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I do want to thank you for your book recommendation. I wrapped up the Mosquito Bowl last night. Super good book. And Wisconsin connections to Badger football, too. So if you want a little bit of Wisconsin history with your Okinawa, that was a really good book, so kudos to you for that. Skill or talent you wish you had but don't?
Probably playing like a musical instrument.
Pick an instrument. Guitar.
Probably like a guitar or...
Triangle.
Yeah.
Cowbell.
That too. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, probably guitar.
Bass, acoustic,
No,
electric.
acoustic.
Okay, all right. Pick a number between 1 and 32.
All right, last one here, 21.
The biggest myth about success.
Oh, that's too deep.
That's what she said.
You went there.
Michael Scott.
Oh, man. On that note, thank you, Morgan.
Well, might be my last day.
Back after this. All right, second hour kicks off right now on this rainy Wednesday morning, depending on where you are listening to us from. But thanks for making us a part of your start here We appreciate it. Whether you're listening on the radio dials, you got a couple of those, 105.1 FM, 790 AM online, sportstalk1051.com. You've got the video stream also up and rolling. Don't forget to click that follow, subscribe, whatever the kids call it, on the YouTube page there. Ring that bell. We appreciate that very, very, very much. And please feel free to join in on the Section 105 chat over there, too. I got your smart devices like Alexa, Google devices that you can also tune in. Mike says the move yesterday that confused me the most was Greg Jones. When is he going to get a chance to play in that outfield? Well, remember, Greg Jones is also an infielder, too. So I'm assuming that would be his first opportunity if it got to that point. I know when he first was called up, it was primarily in the outfield, but he is a player that plays infield and outfield. So my guess is that since Hamilton was only on the 10-day injured list, they must view it as a short-term. Probably after the All-Star break, he'd be available just from a timing standpoint. So I think Greg Jones is probably just being called up as a guy that is going to be there for an emergency situation in case something happens with the infield. So he can play infield as well. C-Bomb says a real tip of the cap to Murphy. Sticking with Ortiz, the question will still remain similar as last year in a late inning playoff game. Is Ortiz a guy that you could trust at the plate with runners in scoring position? That's what the Brewers brass needs to figure out. Yeah, I'd go sign on that for sure. Yeah. Keep those Brewers thoughts coming. Hit me up, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or join in on the chat. Hey, Kasper Classic. We are less than a month away from the Classic, and I just opened up a couple more spots for 10 a.m., and we still got just a couple more left for 1 p.m. We also have the Surveyor flight at 7:30 a.m., but time is running out. All right, so head to our website, sportstalk1051.com. Click on the icon there and sign up your two-person team for just $90. That's $90 for the team, not per person. Includes 9 holes, a carts at Lake Alley Golf Course, Friday, August 7th. Also includes your meal and some drink tickets and such. So big thanks to our partners this year, Muldoon's, Park Ridge Distributing, Hy-Vee and Eau Claire, Kelsey Nikolai, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Dodge, Cambridge, Myron Construction, VFW Post 305, Superior Auto Body, Window World, Home Oasis, Residence Branding, Claflin Construction, Carpet City Flooring Center, and Economy Furniture. We are still looking for some raffle prizes too, because 100% of those proceeds go to helping fund Backyard Dreams. So if you're interested in a prize donation or would like to sponsor a hole and such, please reach out and we'll put you in touch with the proper peeps. But a big thanks to all of you who have already signed up. If you know anybody else, maybe recruit some other people to sign up. And if you want to golf with them, let me know, and I'll make sure to pair you up with them. All right. More details again at our website, sportstalk1051.com. Let's continue our talk, our countdown for Packers training camp, shall we? As we inch closer and closer to the start of camp, we'll do a little bit of a countdown of the top stories, top things to watch, biggest question marks. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about running backs and Josh Jacobs. I'm going to stay on the offensive side of the ball here. And I think one of the interesting things to watch in training camp is going to be the offensive line when it comes to the Packers. For a few different reasons. Because when you look at it, the offensive line, you're going to have a new starter at left tackle, and it's going to be Jordan Morgan. Now, Jordan Morgan, a first-round pick, been with the ball club for the last couple of years, but I think there's still a little bit of a question out there. Can he be the long-term fixture at left tackle? Just because we haven't seen him play a significant amount of time at left tackle, and especially in the regular season. I mean, he has shown last year in preseason, training camp, he was solid. at the left tackle position, but Rasheed Walker was still your starter in the regular season. Rasheed Walker is no longer there. It is Jordan Morgan's job to lose. So, can he be that long-term fixture? Can he be the guy? And that blind spot for Jordan Love and that blind spot for the Packers for the foreseeable future. Sean Ryan gets a new contract, gets inserted into that center spot, replacing Elton Jenkins from last year. Elton Jenkins, the veteran, no longer on this team. And Sean Ryan looked like he, maybe was a little bit better than Elton Jenkins at that center spot. But he gets the contract extension, and now he's going to get a full offseason and a full training camp and a full preseason to prepare for that center position. Can he maybe elevate his game just a little bit more? Is there more room for him to grow and to get better at that offensive line or at that center spot? Aaron Banks, last year, big free agent contract, underwhelmed. I think that's fair to say. I think it's fair to say that he underwhelmed, dealt with some injuries. But from a performance standpoint, based off the contract that he has, it is safe to say that he underwhelmed. Can he improve this year? Can he be reliable this year? Can he be healthy this year? And can that play be better this year? For a guy that's getting paid a lot of money, is it fair to say that from the starters, maybe he's got the most questions around him? Got a little bit better towards the end of last year. But maybe the other guy, too, is Anthony Belton. Anthony Belton, rookie last year. First initially came as a right tackle, but then the Packers putting him in at right guard. He is a massive human being. He's a big guy, 6'6", 335, 340. What's he going to be like in his sophomore year? Can he elevate? Can he elevate his game in year two and be the fixture at that right guard spot? But don't ignore, I should say, don't overlook one of the rookies for Green Bay this year that maybe makes a push to be a starter. And, of course, we're talking about Burton. Now, Burton, if you're looking at depth charts, he's currently listed as the backup center, but the 5th-round pick from Kentucky. He's been getting a lot of looks, getting some reps with the ones in these minicamp practices, OTAs, all that fun stuff. So this is a guy that could push to play and maybe get some starting time early on in the season. I think a lot's going to depend on the play. Obviously, health, too, is going to be a big factor in all this. But I think a lot is going to depend on the play from maybe an Aaron Banks. What if Sean Ryan struggles at center? Would they make the move even though they signed him to a 3-year deal? What about Anthony Belton? Anthony Belton, if it's just not working for him, could they slide Burton over there too? Or maybe Burton at center and Ryan back at guard? Keep an eye on Burton this year, especially in training camp. Because if he's going out there, if the Packers and Matt LaFleur continue with their 5 best will play, and if it's clearly obvious that Burton is a top 5 offensive lineman on this team, where does he slot in then? Who loses that spot on that starting line? I think you look at that interior part. Banks, Ryan, and Belton, even with Ryan signing a contract. Because at least you can maybe move him from center to guard, or you have a little bit of flexibility there. Zach Tom, I think, for him, we know when he's one of the better right tackles in this league. It's just health. How is he going to come back? How is he going to look coming back from that injury that he suffered last year, having off-season surgery? Hopefully everything's good. Hopefully he'll be back playing at that high level that we expect from Zach Tom every single year at that right tackle spot. But after Burton, I think you look at depth then as the main question. Darian Kinnard's back. He's the veteran swing tackle of this group. But what after the? Because I think you can make the case that Green Bay's got their top 7 figured out, barring any injuries. I think we kind of know who the top 7, and maybe they carry one more offensive lineman. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, anywhere from 1 to 3. I think if they carry just 8, I'd be a little bit nervous just because, you're an injury away from being a little bit short. So you're looking at guys like Donovan Jennings, Barnhart, Travis Glover, Brant Banks, Jacob Monk, John Williams. I mean, who these guys are going to be fighting for those last spots on the offensive line, those depth spots. Travis Glover has been with the team for a couple of years. He was a 6th-round pick in 2024. Donovan Jennings entering his 2nd season. Barnhart's entering his 1st season. Brant Banks, they like him a lot. He's entering his 1st season too, or 2nd season, excuse me. Jacob Monk, he was a round 5 pick out of Duke in 2024. So you're looking at those guys maybe fighting anywhere between 1 and 3 positions. And it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that Green Bay might still add some veterans to the offensive line for depth purposes. They did it last year with Kinnard. If Green Bay gets into training camp and gets into these preseason games and is clearly evident that their second offensive line group is not getting the job done, and it looks like a mess, don't be surprised to see Green Bay go out there and make a trade or scour the waiver wire to try to improve that offensive line depth, because it starts in the trenches. I don't care of all the changes that the NFL has gone through over the years, passing game, running game. I want adequate, good depth at that offensive line position. I don't want it to be where one injury completely ruins it, where they can't run block or they can't pass protect for Jordan Love. So offensive line play this year, I'm fairly confident that we know the top 7, but there's still questions within that top 5. How are they going to perform? Are they going to be able to play at a high level? And then you're looking at the back end of those depth spots. Are those guys going to be able to get the job done, or is Green Bay going to have to make a move again in training camp during the preseason? Offensive line is definitely a position to have to go out there and watch and pay attention to. All right, we'll take a quick break. Plenty more to come. We got a quick text here from Brian from the Card Collecting Club. So excited for this youth movement by the Brewers. Laura was great. Pratt stepped up. Cheerios there. And then we have Made, Pena, and Fisher raking in the minors. Then our young pitching has been solid. The future is bright. Keep sending us your Brewers thoughts. 715-830-1912. And also on the Section 105 chat room. Let's take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these few words. Believe it or not, hunting season preparation starts right now, and there is no better place to gear up than Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls. Whether you are looking to maybe upgrade your deer rifle or pick up a new turkey shotgun or add a dependable shotgun for traps, sporting clays, and target shooting, which is going on right now, a lot of leagues going on, sportsmen's clubs and such, Tilden Gun has a wide selection of firearms from the brands that you know and trust. Their knowledgeable staff can help you find the perfect fit for your hunting style, your experience level, and your budget. Plus, you'll find some ammo, accessories, optics, and more to help you get the most out of every trip to the range or into the field. Don't wait until the season is right around the corner. Get prepared now and shoot with confidence later. Stop by Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls and see why sportsmen and shooting enthusiasts throughout the Chippewa Valley trust Tilden Gun for all of their firearm needs. And a big thanks again to Tilden Gun and Hunter at Tilden Gun last week helping me find Hudson's first deer rifle. And if you catch the latest video of the Scotty Sportsman, you probably saw Hudson on there helping sight it in too. So big thanks to Hunter. Customer service over at Tilden Gun is just awesome. So, okay, let's chat some football. I know we got some Brewers texts to get to here. I'll get to those here in just a little bit. But let's talk some football as we are inching closer and closer to training camp. We got Joe joining us. So, Joe, offensive lineman that is maybe the most in danger of the starters right now that are listed on the depth chart. The offensive lineman that is maybe in the most danger of losing his starting spot to the rookie Burton.
That's a great question, and I probably would go with Belton, just because of the fact that I think that he could actually be that swing tackle. So the domino effect when you have a situation like this is if you're saying, okay, we like Belton better as that third tackle position. Now, if you are sitting him for the rookie, then you're saying we're not moving guys around. We're just letting him focus on that one position. So I would say that, and again, I think you could make a case for Banks as well. And of course, Sean Ryan in the mix as well for that. But I think if you were to make a move with the rookie, I think it would be that right guard position, Belton, and then he swings out and becomes that third tackle.
When we look at with training camp, and we're doing a little bit of a countdown series of positions or storylines to watch, positions to watch, questions and all that, how high would offensive line be on that list for you?
Oh, I think it's very high. I think you look at last year, and in both pass pro and in the running game, the offensive line did not play well. And I know that there was a lot of factors that go into that, and so it might not necessarily be lack of talent. But when you look at when you look at Jordan Love from a clean pocket, and this is probably true for most quarterbacks, but it is considerably different, the stats and the type of game that Jordan Love plays from a clean pocket than he does from a pocket that's mucked up with traffic and problems from a pass rush. And then you look at the running game, and you look at how many yards after contact that the Packer running game actually established. So I think it's really high as far as the priority goes. And again, I've said this, offensive line is about continuity. It's about getting reps next to the guy that's playing right next to you. That if you're the left guard, it's the left tackle in the center, obviously. And so I think it's so critically important that Green Bay settles on a starting five relatively early in camp to give those five guys the most reps possible together. When you talk about storylines, obviously I think Marshawn Lloyd's health is going to be a big storyline. I think the receiver rotation is going to be a big storyline. I think also the outside backer situation with Micah Parsons not going to be available for the first part of the season. Who steps up? Who is that guy that's going to step up in Parsons' absence? So there's several storylines. And again, it was interesting, Dan, because I saw an ESPN thing this week, and I wanted to get your take on this. When you look at the Green Bay Packer roster, ESPN had it ranked as the 10th most talented roster in the NFL. And I started processing that and thinking about that. I said to myself, that's not bad. I think that's a fair estimation of where this roster is here in July. And so I wanted your take on that because, again, lots of storylines, lots of positional battles, lots of depth questions still on this football team. But I felt 10th was a pretty fair ranking by ESPN.
I think it was fair. I think the only question that I might have had is I don't know if the Lions are 4 spots ahead of Green Bay. I had they had the Lions at 6, especially with the Arnold situation in the secondary. I know they've had some moving parts in the offensive line in that. So that would be my only comparison, that I think Lions and Packers are a little bit closer than just 4 spots on there. But no, I mean, with you're looking at, I think, from an offensive line standpoint for Green Bay, I think we have a good idea who the top 7 are, but I think there are questions in terms of, okay, are they like the long-term solutions, right? Even like Jordan Morgan. We know he's going to be left tackle, but is he going to be the guy, the next David Bakhtiari or whatever you want to say and such? So we may know those pieces, but I think there's still questions on, are they the guys for the long term?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. And my question, when you look at this and you start breaking down some of those guys on the roster that we know they're going to be starters, but at what level? I'd say right now that Green Bay's arrow is pointing up because of the fact that there's a lot of young guys that are going to be stepping into critical roles. And so I think the arrow has the potential to look up. But I also, obviously, when you have young guys who don't reach their potential and you're a draft and develop team, you could honestly be looking at it and they could be trending downward. So you could make an argument for either one of those. But yeah, I think when you break down this football team, I think it's a very talented team. I think Jordan Love, that next step, again, like I said, who's going to replace Micah Parsons? How does Christian Watson and Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden, how do they take that next level? What about Tucker Kraft? Does he come back? And does he really break into that upper echelon of tight end? So lots of potential, but lots of potential question marks that go along with that.
Since you brought up that piece from ESPN, they also mentioned about their run-pass ratio, and one of the writers made the point that Jordan Love maybe needs the ball in his hands a little bit more, and I believe that was a conversation a lot towards the end of last year, in the middle of the season last year from fans and such, is that maybe does Matt LaFleur and the Packers have to put the ball in Jordan Love's hands more? Is that something you would like to see a little bit more of this year, especially when you look at the running back questions? We don't know about Josh Jacobs. Obviously, we don't know about Marshawn Lloyd. Do you think Matt LaFleur needs to maybe pass the ball a little bit more and maybe trust Jordan Love a little bit more this year?
You know what? I think I'm going to phrase it this way. I think Matt LaFleur needs to be more aggressive. And if more aggressive is putting the ball in Jordan Love's hands, then the answer is yes. I was talking with someone just the other day about this, and we were talking about the difference between the Bears and Packers. And I said, if anybody wants to put that playoff loss on Jordan Love, it's very much misguided. Because you look at what he was able to do that game, and I still say this. Jaden Reed catches that perfectly thrown ball late in the game on that final drive. I think Green Bay punches it in at that point. And so, I think I want Matt LaFleur to be more aggressive. And if more aggressive means that 3 or 4 more shots for Jordan Love to dictate the game offensively, then yeah, absolutely. I think Matt LaFleur this year really needs to be calling aggressive game plans. And we've seen that Green Bay has had a problem putting teams away, and whether it's a mentality, whether it's the play calls, whatever it is, there needs to be more of that killer instinct. And I think that's where Matt LaFleur needs to be more aggressive. If that means giving the ball to Jordan Love and putting him in situations to be successful, then absolutely. And again, you're right. There are a lot of question marks in this running game. And Josh Jacobs, regardless of what happens off the field, there's a lot of tread on those tires. And with no really number one reliable backup, and again, I still think Green Bay goes out and gets someone coming up here pretty shortly. But, I would like to see LaFleur be more aggressive. If aggressive means Jordan Love, then so be it.
Speaking of, going out there and get them, let's go back to the offensive line. They did that with Darian Kennard last year. If Green Bay gets into training camp and we see that maybe the second unit is just not getting it done in that, would you like to see Green Bay go out there and be aggressive and find another veteran like they did with Kennard, or should they do that before training camp starts?
I think that on paper, at least, from what they've said, I think Green Bay is pleased right now with what they have. So I don't see them doing anything before camp, but I do see them definitely pulling the trigger if something needs to be done, or, of course, if an injury happens. If the injury happens, 100% you go out and get something done. But I think Green Bay will wait to see what they have with the pads on because, again, very hard to see what you have from an offensive line standpoint in shorts. So I could see them holding off, seeing what they have once contact happens, once the guys get in the pads, and then making a move after that.
Is the X factor for the Packers this year Savion Williams?
Offensively, it very much could be, but I think you have to look at Matthew Golden and really put yourself in a position now. I mean, again, those opportunities are going to be there for Golden, and so I love the Swiss Army knife of a Savion Williams, but until I see more body of work, and you had asked me several weeks ago, what do I want to see out of Savion Williams to really become a believer? And for me, it's the route tree development. It's really being able to put him in different positions, whether it's the X or the Z or the slot or wherever you're putting him. I want to see him be able to run the full route tree. So, yes, Savion Williams has that Swiss Army knife, but I think the X factor for this offense is really going to be how they use Matthew Golden in year two. Jaden Reed, we know, is a tremendous slot receiver. He's locked up. We know Christian Watson, when healthy, takes the top off the defense. So what role is Matthew Golden going to play? And Matthew Golden has a little bit of Jaden Reed and a little bit of Christian Watson because he's got the slot size, but he's got that Watson deep speed. And so I think he's really the guy that if Green Bay is going to take that next step offensively, I think Matthew Golden needs to be a little bit more of that guy. And so that I think is, for me, is the true X factor. That Swiss Army knife, like I said, I like what Savion Williams brings to the table. I'd like to see a bigger body of work before I say, hey, this is a guy that could be a difference maker 4 or 5 plays a game. And one big point on this, when you talk about X factors for this team, I really think the signing of Sky Moore, I think really is going to pay dividends for the Packers because finally they are putting some emphasis on the return game. And so I think that could be your X factor, especially from a special team standpoint.
Before I let you go, I got to switch gears and get your thoughts on Badger football and the Badgers hiring Sean Eichhorst as their new athletic director. I know you're an alum at the university and that. So what's your thoughts on the Badgers going maybe with the non-splashy hire?
You know what? I thought it's a great hire. It is a great hire. And again, we look at these hires. I thought McIntosh was a good hire. So obviously it remains to be seen what they have here. But I think they went a traditional route, Wisconsin roots, big time programs that he's had experience in. And so you've got a guy that has Wisconsin roots, but I think that will play to the alumni. That will play very, very much to the alumni. And there's been a lot of complaints about Fickell's approach to recruiting in the state. And, of course, Alvarez, when he came here, he said, we're going to build a wall around the state. And Fickell kind of turned his back on the state. And now you see the recruiting classes moving forward, much more emphasis on that. So I think bringing a Wisconsin guy back home, first of all, check number one. Okay, we're going to build up that base again in home, in the state, to make sure we've got that wall built around it. And then you've got a guy who's got big time experience. And so I thought it was a great hire. And it's interesting, Dan, because was actually talking, same people I was talking about the Bears and Packers that we started talking Badger football. And, you know, if Fickell doesn't do it this year, the payout is $25 million. And so if they do need to make a move, it's an expensive move they're going to have to make. And so, you know, it looks like Fickell has his most talented football team since he's been here. It looks like the AD hire was a good one. But until we see what happens, especially in Big Ten play, we just don't know. But at this point, does it seem like they made the moves they had to, and these could be right moves? Absolutely. But like I said, I thought it was going to be a seamless transition from Alvarez to McIntosh, and we all know what happened there. So good hire on paper. I like it here on July 8th. Remains to be seen. Talk to me on September 8th. Talk to me on October 8th. Talk to me about it on November 8th, and we'll see how I feel then.
He's Joe DeGuano joining us this morning. Appreciate the time as always, sir. Enjoy the rest of the week here, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, Dan. Take care, man.
You got it. There you go. There's Joe joining us here. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after these quick words. Summer road trips create some great memories, but sometimes, you know what? Accidents happen. If a fender bender puts a dent in your plans, trust Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire to get your vehicle looking like new again. Their experienced team provides quality collision repair and attention to detail that helps restore your vehicle and your peace of mind. When life bumps into your vehicle, count on Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. Reminder, Brewers Game 4 of this series tonight, 6:45. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior on your radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM, so that's about 6:10. 6:10 this evening. Kyle Harrison on the mound looking for his 9th win on the season, looking to improve to 9-1 on the season. Coming up in about, let's say, 15 minutes or so, just past 8 o'clock, after our news updates at 8 o'clock, we'll catch up with Ty from Slab Factory for our Inside the Hobby segment. So it's been a couple weeks since we were able to catch up with Ty, so we will chat with him. And if you have any questions for Ty, too, please feel free to text those on over to our Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. 715-830-1912. So we'll get those to Ty. You can also join in on the Section 105 chat as well. So we'll get to those coming up here in just a little bit. But it is a What If Wednesday. All right, so give me your best what if sports scenarios that are out there. What if this? What if that? What if this were to happen? What if this team did this? All right, send them on over. Have a little fun with this so I can throw it out to the rest of the listeners and get their feedback on it too. We'll do a little right before 8 o'clock because I do have to take another break here. So we'll do a little, what are we doing here Wednesday? What are we doing here Wednesday? I want to hit that up coming up here in just a couple minutes too. So we are playing a little behind, so we got to play a little catch up in that. So we'll do that here. But got a few more texts about the Brewers before I take a quick break. We got Mark saying, good start to the Lara era. You're right. His speed was something I was not expecting. Man, that guy is fast. This team has a ton of speed to it. We've got Nick texting in here. I hope Robert Gasser continues to get opportunities in the starting rotation. I think he's a better starter than a bullpen option for the Brewers. We have Sam text in here. It is a shame that Bryce Terang is not in the All-Star game. I hope some way that they can find him in there. But with the games from yesterday, awesome day for the Brewers to sweep the Cardinals. It seems like the Brewers have the Cardinals number this year. And we got another texter here, Scott, texting in saying, Lara looks legit. I know it's only one game, but, man, that kid can fly across the bases. If he can be consistent in getting on the base at the top of the lineup, Brewers should have no problem scoring more runs. Base hits can easily get him across home plate. Continue to send those. Continue to send me your thoughts and opinions on Lara, Mizrowski, Robert Gasser, the Brewers, et cetera, et cetera. I'll get to those throughout the program. We'll take a quick break as we start to wrap up the second hour. We'll be right back with a little, what are we doing here? After these quick words. Looking for the perfect summer hangout? Well, make your way to the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. You can enjoy some beautiful views overlooking the river, some great food, some cold beverages, and some of the best live local music that you will find anywhere in the Chippewa Valley. Whether you're meeting some friends after work or spending a summer evening outdoors, the VFW Post 305 is the place to be. Great views, great music, great times. That's the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. All right, let's do a little, what are we doing here? And for me, I'm going with the NBA. And I'm probably going to sound like old man in the front yard screaming at the sky here. But, so, Chris Middleton signed a 3-year, $17.6 million deal with the Washington Wizards via a sign and trade with Dallas. So Middleton's going back to the Washington Wizards. That's not my what are we doing here. My what are we doing here is because this is all part of a very confusing, elaborate 6-team trade between the Pistons, the Grizzlies, the Clippers, the Bucks, the Mavericks, and the Wizards. Washington sent D'Angelo Russell. I'm going to try to break this all down here. Washington sent D'Angelo Russell, a 2029 second rounder, a 2032 second round swap, and a 2033 second round pick to Memphis. Dallas also includes a 2033 second round selection with Middleton to Washington. Also in the trade is that Bucks-Pistons trade where LeVert and 2 second-round picks to the Bucks for Prince and Harris. The deal creates a trade exception for the Pistons as well as cap savings. Other moves that were previously agreed upon or also involved in the deal. Detroit sent Marcus Sasser to Dallas, Isaiah Stewart to Memphis, and a protected 2028 second-round pick to the Clippers. Memphis traded Aldama and the draft rights to Tarek Bibervovic to Dallas and 3 second-round picks. Clippers trade John Collins to Detroit and cash to Milwaukee. Dallas traded blah, blah. There's a lot. What are we doing here? Why does this have to be so confusing for fans to kind of follow along? I mean, credit to the NBA peeps who could keep track of this, but this is like getting out of hand here. We're talking pick swaps 6-7 years from now. We're talking 6 teams involved in creating some trade exemptions and cap space. Good golly, this is confusing. I'm just like, what? Explain it. It's like Michael Scott from The Office. Explain this to me like I'm 5. Why do we have to make this so confusing? I know it's an old man fan screaming in the front of his yard towards the sky. The experts get it. The experts can figure this out now. But from a fan standpoint, what does this mean for my team? Okay? Explain this to me in simple terms. What does this mean for my team? Because I can't even keep track of all these pick swaps, second rounders, first rounders. Well, protected, lottery protected, and that. It's making it hard from a fan standpoint to follow along. What are we doing here with all this, man? So, yeah, that's kind of a grind my gears, but it's like, what are we doing, or why do we got to continue to do it like this? I get it, other people can figure that out and such. So, all right, coming up in just a few minutes here, we'll talk with Ty from Slab Factory. So we'll do a little card chat. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk coming up here as well as we get set for Game 4 of this series tonight. Kyle Harrison is on the mound. We'll start to preview that here. We'll continue to do some what if. What's a sports scenario? What's a sports what if that you would like to throw out for the rest of the listeners to chime in about? Hit me up. All right, 715-830-1912. We got a few more texts to catch up on when it comes to the Brew Crew. Brewers. This is from Brian. Another Brian here. Brian says, Luis Lara looked the part yesterday. Overreaction Wednesday. Feel like that guy is going to be a stud. Another texter, don't have a name, can't give you any credits, but says, I agree. I agree with the one texter. I hope Robert Gasser stays within the starting rotation. Don't know whose spot he would take over, but it seems like he is getting better and better in his last couple of starts and reminding everybody what he looked like when he made his debut just a couple of years ago. And then finally, we've got Jake with the Brewers text coming in here and saying, give credit to Joey Ortiz. He's definitely been hitting better at the plate. Maybe it is because the Brewers moved him back to third base. Hopefully this is something he can continue, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence that he can continue to produce from the plate. Good stuff. All right. I only got about 30 seconds till the shot clock cuts me off. So we're at halftime. We got some news updates. We'll kick off the next hour with a little Inside the Hobby. We'll get back to some more baseball talk. We've got some what-ifs coming your way as well, and more of your thoughts. Continue to send us those messages on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line or on the Section 105 chat room. So we'll be right back after these quick words. All right, we are on to the third hour on this Wednesday morning. A big thanks for making us a part of your start if you are already up and at it, which you should be. It's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in wherever, however you are tuning in. We've got a few of you still chiming in about the Brewers and why wouldn't you with the way they're played. So we'll get back to some of your comments and texts. It is a What If Wednesday. So we'll get to that here in just a little bit, too. But we kick off this Wednesday. It's one of my favorite days of the week in convos because we get to chat with Ty from Slab Factory this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing fine. How are you?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Everything going good in the card world? Lots of stuff still.
Lots of stuff going on. Yeah. I mean, we pre-texted some ideas, but there's never a shortage. There's always something.
Exactly. So I guess I'm going to give you kind of the honors. Where would you like to lead off? Do you want to showcase what you already showed me a little bit here? So
I'd like to lead off with how much I love Jacob Mizrowski.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I talking Brewers, watched the game yesterday, second screen while working,
Mm-hmm.
and gosh, like. His bad outings are so good.
Yeah. Yeah. He set the bar so high, right?
Yes. No extra base hits for what was it? 6 starts or something like that, or 7 starts. And
not walking anybody.
Yeah. And then now, gives up a couple home runs here and there. Guys are timing up his pitches a little bit. But he's still generally unhittable. I mean, didn't allow a hit after the 3rd inning yesterday. So, I mean,
right.
Yeah, goodness, just so fun. So, no, one thing that we talked about ahead of this is let's talk autographs because there's a lot to understand about them in cards. I brought this one more for fun because we also picked this up at the shop. Mizrowski signed baseball. If you ever end up with a signed baseball in your hands, look for what's called a COA, Certificate of Authenticity. This one has a Certificate of Authenticity label on it, and you can look it up and on the website and see based on the code that's on here, that it's legit. But you want to look for those on memorabilia. And this is not earth-shattering news; it's pretty standard. But just wanted to share that for those who do not know. If you have a signed baseball, I was just going to say, if you have a signed baseball and you don't know, it doesn't have that, you can get it authenticated.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah. If there's places they can just kind of look at it and, handwriting experts, or if you will. So.
Yeah. There's there's a number of them out there. JSA is one. There's also, this one comes from LGC, which I'm less familiar with, but I know that they are legit. But you also want to look out for the ones someone came in with a Shohei Ohtani autographed jersey that was from a website that did not have any sort of historical backing of being legitimate, when you looked up the COA. And I was I'm not, we're not interested in this. So always be careful of that too. But anyway, I wanted to talk about autographs on cards because, there's some fun news we'll talk about later from Upper Deck that has to do with autographs and, the licensing. But as far as the actual cards are concerned, I wanted to talk through sticker autographs.
Okay.
On-card autographs, cut autographs.
Oh, man.
And, aftermarket, autographs.
Okay.
There's also post-production type autographs I'll talk through too. So there's a lot of different types. They vary in how much they add or take away from the value of a card, and there's different reasons why they have them.
Okay.
So I'll just launch into it.
I was going
to say, this is going to be a Tyler-heavy episode here.
I'm all about that, dude.
So this one here is a Shaquille O'Neal Miami Heat auto, and this one's kind of fun for a specific reason, but this is an example of a sticker. Back in the day, they had sticker autographs that were kind of a holographic sticker. I really like these. You don't see them very often anymore. Really, more often you see a clear one so that it doesn't look as obvious, but it's still a sticker. But the reason for these, that these card manufacturers do these, is because they'll send a sheet of stickers out to the athlete. They just sign a million of them. A bunch of them, not a million, sign a bunch of them and then ship them back. And then for years, they can put those stickers on those autographs or on those cards, right? I don't know. I was thinking about this on the way over and I realized I don't know, so I should look it up. But for example, athletes who have passed away, there's, if there are sticker autographs that are still sitting on, the shelf at, Upper Deck or at Panini or something like that, they could technically use those, right? So like, a sticker autograph to some people is worth less than an on-card autograph, which is important to note, right? This one is fun in the sense that Shaq wore 32 with Miami, but he clearly signed this when he was a member of the Lakers because it says number 34 in his signature.
I was just wondering that. I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
So like that's an example of how they sit on the shelf until they're used. You could probably call that a little bit lazy that Topps still decided to use a 34 sticker, with a 32 jersey, but
it's still a Shaq autograph.
Still a Shaq autograph. I actually got it because I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So that's an example of a sticker autograph, right? Then there's on-card autographs, and this is a Nick Kurtz on-card autograph. And you can tell that it's on-card. Obviously, when you look closely at it, you can see that there's no sticker underneath the autograph. And for the listening audience, this is less exciting, but basically it's a Topps paper stock product, and it's a blue ink autograph of Nick Kurtz. And you can tell that it is signed directly on the card. A lot of people like these because they look clean and because they know that the athlete held that card in their hands, right? Rather than it being something that it was a sheet of stickers that were shipped to them and then they just signed a bunch of them. It feels a little bit more soulless to a lot of people when it's a sticker autograph versus an on-card autograph.
Okay. Yeah. So like really quick back to the sticker one, and maybe I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Like I've noticed some cards too with those stickers, it's almost like an invisible sticker. They try to make it really like, but you can tell there is a sticker on there.
Right. Yes. And that's intentional, right? I mean, I think that because people like the look of an on-card autograph, it's not like they're trying to trick you, but they are trying to make the card look cleaner when they do like a more invisible sticker. So that certainly would be the reason, for that. But you see that way more often than you do any other type. There's like in football, they have like eye black ones too.
Oh yeah.
You've probably seen those where it's usually signed with like a silver Sharpie on like eye black. That's pretty fun. But otherwise it's usually just like a clear sticker on the background of the card.
Okay.
The next type is a cut autograph. And so this is an example of one that like, it appears that this product was like, Ken Griffey Jr. It says on the back here, congratulations, this is a Griffey auto. It says on the back here, congratulations, you have received a card personally autographed by Ken Griffey Jr. This trading card was sent to Upper Deck directly from Ken Griffey Jr. This certificate expressly warrants the authenticity of the depicted athlete's signature. So by the way, stepping back, on any of these autographed cards that come from a manufacturer like Topps, like Panini, like Upper Deck, they will have on the back, it will say, you have received a card personally autographed. It'll say something along the lines of this autograph is authenticated by Upper Deck or by Panini, right? Or we guarantee the authenticity of this. But this one's interesting because what I mean by cut autograph is that it's like almost like he signed something else and then they put the sort of cardboard of the card over the top of it. You see this way more with like early 1900s athletes.
I just saw Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle one on Fanatics. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Yep. So they signed a check. They signed at the bottom of a piece of paper. They signed for like, the invoice for their plumber. I don't know, right? Like those are the types of things that people hunt for. And then these, card manufacturers buy them from people and then cut them out and put them into a card.
Is that like with a lot of the historical ones too, like a president's signature or something?
Absolutely. Every single, older president's signature that you see in like card form or memorabilia form, those are all cut autos. A lot of people like them. Some people think that it's kind of, cheap or whatever. It's like, I don't know, they signed the thing within the card. I'm good with that. You know, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like almost like the inverse of a sticker autograph. It's underneath the cardboard of the card.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
it's still a Ken Griffey autograph.
Exactly. It's a Ken Griffey Jr. autograph. I mean, like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Reds uni, Ken Griffey, kind of, we had this conversation a while back, like, team changes, what sells better. The Reds uniform Ken Griffey Jr. autos don't sell for as much. as the Mariners ones, right? Like this one's a really cool autograph. It's worth about $300-ish bucks, which is certainly a valuable card, but like, his Mariners autos way more,
Right.
So
that's who we think of when we think Ken Griffey Jr., right? It's
absolutely.
Mariners.
We think Mariners. Yep. So, same as the, the conversation we had about Aaron Rodgers and Myles Garrett and all those guys.
And maybe Giannis.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think that I think I talked about this. The first autographs will be really valuable, right? The first Heat ones. Historically, they will not hold up against Milwaukee Bucks ones unless he, wins a championship, which I do not see that roster doing a lot of winning. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That's not even the hate talking. I'm actually really happy for Giannis and for the Bucks. I think it was time, but you don't pay me to come on here and talk about that. You don't pay me at all. But anyway. Another type of autograph is, an on-card autograph that is like a post-production autograph. Okay. So like this is an Upper Deck Scottie Pippen auto. I'm going Bulls here for these last few. No Jordan with me. Okay. But this is a Scottie Pippen. It's hard to see, but it's autographed, and they have like an embossed kind of stamp down at the bottom. Okay. On the corner that says that it's an authentic autograph, right? Now, that means it's authenticated. It does not need to be authenticated by BGS, PSA, any of these companies, right? And you can see on the back here that in ink, it's numbered. So it's numbered to 1994. So there's 1,994 of this autograph out there, okay? This is an example of like, Upper Deck sort of reclaiming basically, normal printed cards, having Scotty do an event where he comes and signs a whole bunch of these and then putting them in a product later. You see that sometimes, and there's actually a very popular but inexpensive baseball product called Archives. Okay. Not to be confused with the other Archives. There's two different Archives baseball. I don't want to talk about that. It annoys the heck out of me. But it's like re-autographed cards. Okay. And in each box of that Archives product, you are getting a guaranteed autograph, and it's usually numbered like 1 of 1 to like up to like 100-ish, and those are like cards that were already printed. Gotcha. That the athlete signed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then the last two I have are both Dennis Rodman. And I wanted to show an example of a couple of things, how these autographs can be different over time. Autographs change with these athletes, but oftentimes these authenticators, they have on file multiple different autographs by like the same athlete. For example, Giannis's rookie auto, which I can bring another time. I have one, but Giannis's rookie auto looks way different than his current auto. Right. LeBron James just changed his autograph.
Did Tom Brady change his too?
Tom Brady's changed over time. Yeah. So like, you can see over time when these athletes change, but for the YouTube audience, this is a Dennis Rodman patch auto, another example of a cut auto. But although it's more in the cut auto style, but I do not believe it to be a cut autograph. I don't think they pulled this from anything else. It's just the way that they made the card.
Gotcha. Okay.
But and on the back, it says enclosed game-worn material and autograph are guaranteed by Panini America. This is part of the game-worn all-star PC that I have. But then you have another Dennis Rodman that looks way different.
Oh, yeah.
Autographs way crazy. And this is an example of an aftermarket or in-person autograph. So someone went to an event that he was signing at or saw him on the street or whatever it may be, and they got this card autographed by Dennis Rodman. Then they sent it to Beckett to get authenticated. So on the slab, it's hard to see, but it says authentic autograph, and then it has a cert number. So someone certified this to be a Dennis Rodman autograph. If you ever have a raw card without authenticity, so without the thing on the back that says this autograph is guaranteed by such and such, or without a COA like you see on this Mizorowski baseball, then buy it with a grain of salt, because either it's accurate and it was signed by him, or it wasn't and it was faked. And so that's what you have to look out for with these aftermarket autographs.
That's why I think my Shaq card, I know my Shaq card it was autographed like that, but it's like a JSA, I think, sticker on there.
Yep. So if it's got a JSA sticker or something like that, it's also, those are not easy to forge, but they can be forged. So you also have to like look up the cert number on the JSA,
right?
Like there's a cert number associated with it or a barcode sometimes or whatever. You still have to look it up because they can fake that too. But
right, that's the cool thing too, because I've done that with like my Don Hudson card, which is autographed. You just kind of look up that number and like boom, it gives you the little details on that. So it's kind of a cool thing to look up.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
And like sometimes with like certain products, they'll have like game worn materials that are associated with a specific game, like, and you can look those up and see, and it'll tell you like what game it was.
Right.
I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. But yeah, that's like kind of the gamut of autographs, right? Like in cards, again, the most valuable thing you can have is an on-card autograph, especially if it's from the manufacturer. Stuff like this Dennis Rodman aftermarket one, they don't sell particularly well compared to like a manufacturer produced one.
Okay.
Like if you go get something signed, if you pay, $400 to have something signed by Jordan Love, you do not automatically have a $400 Jordan Love autograph, right? You're paying to have it signed by him, but you are not getting that value out of it necessarily. It has a lot more to do with the quality of the autograph, if it was manufacturer issued or not, that kind of thing.
Staying with the autographs, and it's something I screenshot with you since we're on a Bulls theme here too.
Yeah.
With the Jordan, you talk about Upper Deck too. I mean, that's giving me flashbacks to the '90s with Upper Deck basketball.
Yes.
And that. So, it's a new deal with Michael Jordan Upper Deck. It has inserted redemptions in its Goodwin Champions product. That hits tomorrow, this Thursday.
Yeah, we actually have we have hobby boxes on the way.
Okay.
Right now, and then we have retail following shortly behind, I think.
Okay, so there's 23 redemptions for the Jordan signed 86 Fleer packs.
Yeah.
That could also contain his rookie card.
It's really cool. It's so cool, honestly. It's Upper Deck's big swing to be like, we're not dead. We still have Jordan. They signed, I don't know if you saw that, like they re-signed Jordan for a lifetime contract with Upper Deck.
Okay, I did not see that, yeah.
Yes. So I think they're going to try to step up their game on like how they utilize Jordan. But the thing is like when they re-sign Jordan, part of the reason that Jordan wants to be with Upper Deck is because he doesn't want to sign a million things. He doesn't want to water down his autograph base that much. What happens when an athlete signs everything, and there are certain athletes out there that have just signed everything, their autographs are just not worth as much at a certain point, right? Jordan has never been someone who gives stuff away for free.
Right.
He's always about that business and that legacy.
Tiger's the same way, I think, right, too?
Yeah, there's autographs, but there's not a million of them out there.
Yeah.
And so, stuff like Jordan autographs are harder to come by. And so this is a really, really cool way to release something that, Upper Deck is a little bit hamstrung on the Jordan front because they can't release Michael Jordan Bulls uniform stuff, right? It has to be, you see it a lot in Goodwin Champions. It's Jordan in street clothes. It's Jordan wearing a suit.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. So how do you make it basketball, like as basketball as possible, while maintaining that sort of image, and I think that this is how. So it's Fleer, 86 Fleer packs that are unopened, that are sealed. They're authenticated, and autographed on the outside in white marker by Michael Jordan. I think these are going to fetch some really crazy numbers. And it's a really fun way to create a chase product in a product that historically is not crazy popular. Goodwin Champions is fun, but it is not some sort of gangbusters product.
Right.
Beware of the secondary market on these boxes. They're going to be expensive until these things are found, right? I haven't looked to see if that's something that's in retail and hobby or if that's a hobby only thing. Okay. That I need to dig into. And once I know, I can also we can talk about it the next time I'm on, or we can talk, because I am a little bit concerned about like telling people that they might be able to find it in retail and then it's not available in retail. Let's see. It does look like it just says in Goodwin Champions product. So we'll have to see what happens when the checklist is dropped, because I don't think the checklist is out yet.
So with that Jordan autographed pack, might be a stupid question. Do you open that pack?
No, just because he autographed the outside of it.
Yeah. So that there might be a Jordan rookie card in there, but you never know.
Adds to the mystique.
Yep.
There's going to be 23 of them placed in redemptions placed in these. So it's not like you're going to find the pack in the box. The redemptions, the way that people do redemptions is that like you basically you pull a redemption and then you submit a code to Upper Deck and then they ship it to you.
Okay.
So I'm assuming heavily insured.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is going to be really, really cool. I think that it's a really fun chase. Like I said, we'll have hobby boxes in both of our locations. I don't think we're going to have a million of them, but it'll be a first come, first serve basis once we post that they're available. So look at our Facebook, our Instagram. We'll definitely, post the price and I don't know it offhand. I don't know what we got them for. So,
well, I want to go back to Giannis because I mean, he's not only switching teams, he's switching numbers too, and all that.
Is that confirmed? There was so much misinformation yesterday.
But I think it is 7 because I did see that the Heat are going to like reimburse anybody who ordered 34 or something.
Then it's
like
official.
That. Yeah. So
I do like that. Yeah, I do like that.
Does that do anything to a card market? Does it make any difference with a number change, even though it's a different jersey? Does that?
Not really, but I think like
or maybe when those sticker autographs.
Yeah,
come into
when
play?
he doesn't do any sort of inscription like that. So unless he's done some inscriptions like that, then it'll be fine. But like when it comes to the, when Kobe changed his number, that's different, right? Stays on the same team but changes his number.
Right.
That made a big shift in his market. His early Kobe stuff. If there's ever anything inscribed with his number 8, then that's pretty cool. But then, he spent most of his career with 24. So, but like when it comes to something like this, I don't think it affects it too much. I think that if anything, it allows him to sort of operate with a different identity in Miami. And that might affect his card market in a positive way. But I don't think it's going to make any huge difference with his market, because it also is like not every athlete inscribes their number. Like, Mizorowski is a perfect example. He puts 32 on as many cards and baseballs and all that stuff as he can. He also puts a little smiley face on there, which I like.
Yeah.
But the Miz is, some athletes always try to add that, and some athletes never do that. And Giannis, I don't think has done much. I can't think of any autographs I've seen that have number 34 on it.
Yeah, because I know Rodgers puts 12 or I guess 8 now on a lot of his. Yep. And does LeBron? Does he put numbers on his?
I think it doesn't the new one have like kind of a crown and a 23 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but. I'm sure that I know that I've seen some before. Yeah.
So if LeBron, we know he's not going to be with the Lakers, but if he goes back to the Cavs for like a third time, I mean, this is a guy that's, changed so many teams throughout so many years. Does that affect anything to the card market if it's back to the Cavaliers? If he goes to the T-Wolves, is it better? Is there anything that could happen with that?
Sorry, I did just find that it does have a 23 in the signature with the crown. It's kind of a sloppy one, but yep. Anyway, I don't think so. So with LeBron, there might be some cool game-worn stuff, right? Like, for example, as somebody who's collecting game-worn patches of all of these NBA All-Stars, I might try to grab a game-worn one from all 3 stints if he goes back to the Cavs.
Yep.
I think that's cool.
That would be a cool one.
Doesn't change the autograph market. Doesn't really. If LeBron's market is already crazy, and it's been shooting up. Like,
really? Okay.
Yes, over the last everything ahead of the National Card Show, which is the end of July in Chicago. The greats, Jordan, LeBron. Barry Bonds is way up right now, actually.
Really?
A lot of these guys, they shoot up before this show because it's a really heavy buying show for like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
For grails, So, anyway, but yeah, I don't think it affects it too much. I think that LeBron's legacy is pretty cemented.
Okay. Last, I got a couple more questions here for you quick. One's from a listener, but I'll ask you this one. Luis Lara? Do we buy heavy on Luis Lara right now? Or?
Luis Lara is such an interesting example of like how occasionally Bowman is weird. So all you have right now of Luis Lara is Bowman product. And it's a couple years ago. And he did not have autographs other than the base autograph. Okay. So for some reason, he didn't have any autographed parallels, no like green, blue, whatever, like no superfractor autograph, like nothing like that. Exclusively just the base autographs. And then everything else was, not autographed. So his market's kind of weird because his base autographs being the only autographs out there are shooting up a decent amount. And I'm sure, I haven't even checked yet, but I'm sure they're up from last night.
Right.
I have a couple of Luis Lara numbered cards from that product that are not autographed that are off getting graded right now that should literally pop any day now. Because I grabbed him a little bit before the season started. But, his market is certainly up. And, Pratt's went up and then it's come down because he's not hitting the ball well, although he's picking it up the last couple of games here, which is fun to see. I still believe in Cooper Pratt for sure. I don't think he's going to be a monster, but I think he's going to be, he's an exceptional shortstop. And I think he's got a big frame. He's a big guy. Like, I think he's going to get some power going. I think he'll be fine. Yeah. But anyway, sorry, that's not what we're talking about.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I know this isn't really maybe in your area of expertise, but we do have Dennis from Elk Mound with a quick question.
Yeah.
It says, can you ask the Slab Factory guy about how to preserve autographed shoes? I have a pair that soles are basically crumbling, not sure what to do about it.
Yeah, I have no clue. I can tell you that there are plenty of resources and materials out there for that kind of thing. Like you can, honestly, the soles are crumbling. That's crazy. Yeah, I guess like I've seen like issues with autograph bleed. That's from humidity, right? So if you can have a humidity controlled, like a humidor of some kind, that might be one thing that you can do. What I mean by that is like sometimes you see this with like baseballs too. That ink starts to just settle deeper and deeper into the ball, especially if it's a thick marker autograph, and it just sort of bleeds out. And that happens in humidity. So you want to control that for sure. But otherwise, I don't have much for you, Dennis. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We'll see if we can. I'll do some Googling too.
That's
a different. Yeah, like you said, the soles is kind of interesting.
I'd like to almost see what he's talking about.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, all right, hey, I'm going to throw this. This is your homework assignment. I need a Packer guy to collect now. So for my PC.
Well, let's talk about it. These are the questions. It's funny. So yesterday I had an old friend, one of my oldest friends, reached out and was like, "Hey, Tyler, like I want to get a product, baseball, football, something for my son that has a good chance of having something valuable in it, but doesn't break the bank." And I was like, well, let's talk about what you value. And I went back and forth. And it turned out he just wants some good cards for his son while his son also gets to open some cards. So I picked out kind of a mix of singles and sealed product that fit within his budget, shipped it out to him. So, it all comes down to what you want, Dan, right? So like, do you want this guy to be affordable, or do you want him to be kind of pushing the boundaries of your budget, right? Do you like, first of all, it's an easy question. Staying power. Is this a player that you like? Is this a player that is currently playing versus, a vet that's not playing anymore? That's safer because they'll always be a Packer, But like, I don't know, you tell me, Dan, like what gets you excited? Are you talking current player when you're talking about this right now? Because obviously Hudson is your guy.
See, then I go back to, part of me is like, do I go back to the 90s receivers? And I don't know.
There's if you want to go back to like a relatively obscure guy, but like someone that's like a fan favorite, you have so many cards that are so cool that can fit into your budget, right?
Yeah.
Like, a guy like Charles Woodson is pretty expensive, no matter how you slice it up, right? But like Antonio Freeman,
I was a big Robert Brooks fan.
Robert Brooks. Yeah. So there's plenty of cool Robert Brooks out there. You got, you can dig through eBay forever and find some really sick Robert Brooks stuff. It's not going to break the bank. He'll always be a Packer. Like
Jordy, I was a big fan of. Yeah.
Jordy has really affordable stuff too, to be honest. Like his autographs, can range anywhere from like $15-$20 all the way up to, $300, $400, but he's not really getting higher than that. So like, you can get a really cool curated collection at a nice price with some of these guys. It's just if you want to collect those top tier guys or collect the current players, that's where it gets a little bit more expensive, right? But like if you're going current, go defense. You know, some of these guys are pretty affordable when they're defensive players.
Yeah. Or I'll just keep going with my Penny Hardaway and Shaq one too.
Well, yeah.
So,
Penny, the NBA is expensive.
Yeah. I've noticed like a lot of the Penny stuff is even going up. It feels like just
all these, you know, sort of like 90s greats are really shooting up. It's no joke. I would recommend, you know, if you're going Packers, you know, you mentioned Jordy. That's a great one because it's within the era that there's a ton of product. You can, there's so much Jordy out there. There's less Robert Brooks out there. But hey, you can PC both. You know, why limit yourself? 287s, cutting it up.
All right. I'm going to do that then. I think that's where I'll be at. So.
Like it. Good plan.
Hey, dude. Appreciate it. As always, man.
Yeah.
So
see you.
Hey, let's do a plug. We got the show coming up on August 9th. That's like a month from tomorrow already, dude.
It certainly is. Yeah.
At the Brewing Projects.
Yeah. We're excited. So Pax and Pines Card Show at the Brewing Projects. We're putting it on with a handful of vendors from the area that are phenomenal vendors. This is a kid-friendly, safe show with vendors who are not going to be trying to take advantage of people. Like we've personally selected these vendors, you know, from and this is not to say that vendors who aren't there are not great. This is this is who's available, who's great, you know, and we also it's a wide range of like some good basic Wisconsin sports stuff to high end sports cards. So like if you're a high end collector, there's a couple of vendors that I know are going to bring the heat. And then there's a bunch of Pokemon, other TCG vendors as well. So it is going to be a really good mix. It's going to be in the upstairs area at Brewing Project. So it's not a huge show, but bring the kids. Stop in yourself, grab a beer. Like the entire point is for it to be educational. We're going to have a hobby bingo type thing for people to play, where you get your card and then you ask vendors different questions about their about their PC or about their what they have, or try to make a trade, and you check those off the bingo card and you get a prize at the end. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be there too, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool. I'm very excited, and we're going to announce more stuff as we go. We're going to start doing some vendor spotlight stuff to talk about some of our vendors who are doing the show, and Slab Factory will obviously have a very big presence there as well.
Right. Awesome. Good stuff, Ty. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan.
You got it.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break. Be back with plenty more coming up after these few words. As always, a big thanks to Ty from Slab Factory for joining us every couple weeks to go through the latest and greatest inside the hobby of the card market. And as always, if you want, you can send those questions on over to Ty, and he'll help answer them to the best that he can. Definitely excited to be hanging out at his card show at the Brewing Project a month from tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. All right. I want to talk a little soccer here coming up because we got Luke joining us. So I want to talk a little bit about the U.S. men's team and their exit and such. I do appreciate the memes and the jokes out there that I see some of them like grave sites, soccer fan, June 26 to July 26, sort of thing, which, I mean, is it that far off? Probably not, so, but I know you're lit.
Well, here's the thing. I was honestly not as familiar with Team USA as I was with some of the other teams because the other teams have more famous and better players. That's the reality of it. I think you will find more, I'm guessing on this, but I think you'll find more Premier League and then Champions League fans, I guess. Barcelona, Real Madrid, think of like the big ones where if you see a kid in a soccer shirt, what are they probably wearing? It's probably going to be like a Messi Barcelona shirt with the blue and red stripes.
You're seeing a lot of those out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, to put it in a kid's perspective, Hudson is a Messi fan. I don't think he's ever watched him play. But he's got a Messi poster. He's got the Messi shirts, the pink, and all.
Right.
He just last week, Messi shoes.
Huh.
I'm like, how do you even know about this stuff? But we went to the outlet malls in Minnesota, and he found them, and he's like, oh, okay. He needed new shoes anyway, so.
Yeah. Go with him. And Messi still matters at this point.
Well, then look what he just did now.
Right.
So
Exactly, yeah. That I would also go so far as to say, how many Major League Soccer kits, shirts, do you see compared to international ones? Just in general. I mean, you could do an actual count. You're going to see a fair number of Minnesota United ones because of proximity, where we're at. After that, and I can name all the MLS teams, but I don't see too many. You might have seen some Beckham ones when he came to the Galaxy. Look, and MLS is getting bigger and bigger all the time. This is not to be like, yeah, MLS sucks. No. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting bigger and bigger. Like it's here to stay. All of it. Fine, yes, but it's still not to the level. It probably never will get to the level of Premier League and the other top European teams, so the ones that I just mentioned. Throw in, your AC Milans, Inter Milans, Bayern Munich, et cetera. PSG, all of those. They're the biggest ones because they have the best athletes in the world. Same for the American leagues for the other sports. Because we have the best athletes playing in the NBA, playing Major League Baseball, playing in the NHL compared to other leagues around the world. But yeah, I'm sure there are casual fans like that we're paying more attention to Team USA. There's two anecdotal examples that I noticed in the past 48 hours or 36 hours, how long since the Belgium game. One was a radio show on a pop music station. It was a syndicated show. They brought up Team USA soccer. Would not have been the sort of thing I would have expected on that show. That's one of those like, oh, it's broken into that territory. You don't hear that show. I only listen to it kind of occasionally, pop in here and there. I don't hear them talk about what's going on last week with the NFL. They're not going to be talking about how the Chiefs did against the Broncos, even with Patrick Mahomes and Travis. If they're going to be talking Travis Kelce, it's going to be 100% Taylor Swift related. They were talking about Team USA playing Belgium. The other example was at a playground yesterday with my daughter, and kind of nearby, the swing set, were some teens, and they started talking about Team USA. I don't think, again, I don't want to stereotype, but those kids sure didn't seem like the soccer type. I don't want to say that they would have no interest in it, but that was the sort of thing so we're playing and I hear that from behind me. I'm like, what? They're talking about this? You don't hear that stuff at all. It broke through with people that probably also don't particularly care about buying a Messi. Well, again, he plays for Inter Miami now, but they wouldn't have bought a Barcelona jersey. They're not buying a Miami jersey. They don't care about Messi that much. They probably have heard of him, but they cared about Team USA. Are those people going to be more into soccer going forward? I think it's kind of like the other World Cups, where each time you get a few more. It's like a stair-step thing. Like I got hooked into soccer with the 94 World Cup. There are probably some that got in a little bit with like the run in 02, probably a little bit with the 2010 run. Remember seeing those like the blow pop or the bomb pop jerseys?
Yep.
They were everywhere that summer, and that had to have added a few more. I think this one adds a few more. Mike Florio, one of the bigger hot take artists out there, but he was referencing the ratings in one of his most recent rumor mill posts. I was reading it this morning, and he said, look, in his view, soccer is now one of the mainstream sports. Now, whether we could say, yeah, it has been for a while or it's not, he thinks it's as mainstream now as the other big ones. That's why I always get a little hesitant to say, do we want to call this a big five or a big six? What's the definition of that? Because we have the big four, NHL, MLB, NFL, NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a big five, but or a big six, how do you count that? Is it MLS? Like we want to say, is it a domestic league? I would argue it's not so much MLS as it is pro soccer. If you threw in the Premier League and you threw in the biggest Champions League teams and maybe World Cup soccer in general, so you have Brazil, Germany, France. In that regard, I think it can make a pretty good case for that being the fifth one cumulatively. You could also throw in, if we're talking pro sports, maybe the WNBA's actually gotten to that level now. It's not quite, I don't think it's quite there yet, but it's in the discussion, whereas 10 years ago, not even close. So it's mainstream enough now that I think you throw it in with the other ones. I think we could stop with the whole, will soccer ever sell in America? Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yeah.
That it's part of the culture. And that's okay. I don't think it has to replace anything. It just is.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk more about this probably coming up in the next hour. I do got to take a quick break as we approach the conclusion of the second hour. We'll be right back after these few words. Don't forget to head to the Hy-Vee in Eau Claire Facebook page to check out the latest and greatest deals that are going on this week. We're talking about Tombstone pizzas, potentially $2.99. Come on now, Tombstone frozen pizzas. Load up those freezers if you've got the kiddos at home. You've got $3.99 a pound Northwest red cherries. It's cherry season. So 10 for 10 Chobani yogurts as well. Lots going on. Lots on sale at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. And as always, don't forget, you can earn some money back at the fuel pump with their Fuel Saver programs. Check it all out at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire on their Facebook page. Just a few minutes left until the top of the hour. I want to get to some baseball talk coming up here, too, as we are approaching already All-Star break coming up soon. Can you believe that? We're already getting to that point. So your Twins are not completely out of it.
I know.
Stop winning so we can maybe get some of your players. But Buxton's back on the injury list.
And don't worry, they'll probably trade them all off. Fire sale to the sequels coming surely, imminently.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the grades from ESPN.com yesterday. I think they had a C+.
Yeah.
Which, given all the really bad grades across baseball right now, there's a lot of them. And given how poor the Twins' offseason was considered to have been, they're holding their own. Again, they're going through these phases. Now they're going through a bit of a better streak. Again, they're not winning the World Series this year. I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think it would be clowned on. No, they're not winning the World Series this year. But I know this was brought up a couple months ago, and then there was some guffawing when the Twins went through a big losing streak. Guffawing. Ha, ha, ha. But there does seem to be better chemistry this year. I was reading a couple articles on Byron Buxton's injury. Now it's actually the first time he's going to the IL. I know he's missed time this year, but this is his first designated time, even if it's a short IL run. Hopefully it's just that. But that his presence as the clubhouse leader post Carlos Correa has probably led to better chemistry, which has kept this team doing better than I think was generally expected. Acknowledging that the talent on the team was thought to be pretty good anyway. That was the undercurrent of the offseason with all the they're getting rid of this guy now, and there was still the caveat of, hey, but actually the talent's pretty good. But da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So you figured actually the floor wasn't that low. If they were going to have a really, really, really bad season, it's because the vibes would have been really bad. Turns out the vibes actually are pretty good in the clubhouse by all accounts. We don't definitely know. We'd probably have to wait for one of those postseason, a variation of the Now They Tell Us article, but in a good way. But it sure does seem as though Buxton has helped a lot. And then I guess the character of the rest of the folks are working out well enough, probably tied in with Shelton's, probably doing pretty decent, even though Baldelli was considered to be a player's manager. All of it's working.
Yeah.
Well, working enough given they hardly have a relief corps. And they've had enough other injuries. Guys who are supposed to be good have been injured a lot or had been demoted. Royce Lewis, so he came back, did okay. Matt Wallner got demoted. I don't think they make the playoffs. I still think, and I'm sure a lot of people think, at some point, American League teams are going to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But right now, what the Rays are the only 90-win pace team at this point?
Yeah, well, Brewers are 101.
No.
101 win pace.
But
team.
I mean, in the American League.
Oh, American League. Yeah.
National League is totally different, but the American League, it's not.
No.
I mean,
who is right now? Can you say somebody is clearly on top in the American League?
I mean, the closest would be Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And
the Yankees obviously have the star power and such.
It's just they're figuring out stuff. But yeah, the Yankees are slumping without Judge. I'm waiting for some team to do it, and that's probably going to pull enough away from the Twins. But if they don't sell, there's even a little bit of talk of do they add? Could get interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So, tell you what, we got We'll take a quick phone call. We only got about a couple minutes left to the top of the hour, but we got to bring him in. Coach Jim from the Eau Claire Axemen is joining us right now. Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Fantastic. Good morning. How are you?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Hey, nice week off last week, but you're back at it at home at the Sonntag Center, and you're going to be taking on the Nebraska Siege. Did you guys, well, first of all, did you enjoy your off week last week?
Yes, and the guys were excited to get back yesterday. It's just nice to get away from everybody, guys included. And it's just a chance for them to get back with family and reconnect and recharge. And we had a very spirited, great practice last night, and looking forward to another one today and then Saturday night.
Yeah, so your final 3 games coming up here. I mean, it feels like the season has just been flying by for you guys, but 2 of your final 3 games are all at the Sonntag Center. How big is that for you guys to finish up the regular season with 2 out of your last 3 at home?
It's awesome because the long travel teams that we play are now out of the way, and we're at the end of the season, and we replay those teams, and so they have the long bus rides to get here now, and then we just have a short one next week down to Waterloo for it's like 3.5 hours. So we're in a good spot, and it's military and first responder appreciation night on Saturday night, so we're looking for a big crowd.
Absolutely, and we're going to be giving away some tickets for your game coming up this Saturday a little bit later on this morning too. So you mentioned it. It's Military and First Responders Appreciation Night, sponsored by Council Tools. So that's always a special night when you can get those fine folks in to help honor them, right, Coach?
Most definitely. My dad was in the Army, and I've had a brother and uncles and relatives, obviously. So I have a special place in my heart for all those people. And my parents were law enforcement officers, and I was for 4 years. And so those first responders that are running into danger, and those firefighters, et cetera, and military as well, it's they put their lives on the line every day, and we just have to be super thankful for that. And so this is our way of giving back and appreciating for everything they do and give us the opportunity and the freedoms that we have in this country.
Absolutely. And if anybody's interested in maybe getting a group of 8 or more, you can check out their website, ecaxmanfootball.com, and email at Michael over there for some potential discounts and such, and packing up Sonntag Center for some Axemen football. And Coach, looking at the Nebraska Siege, this is the second time you've played against them. Can you learn anything from your previous game, a little bit from like a month ago, or do you kind of go into this with a blank slate?
No, everybody now has played each other, so we kind of know what everybody's going to do. Now their quarterback is injured. I don't know if he's playing. Our quarterback's injured. We brought a new guy in yesterday that will probably get the nod on Saturday and throw him into the fire right away. But, of our 5 losses, I've told the guys we're the best 0-5 team in this league, because we could very easily be 3-2, 4-1. And if we look at it on average, there's 3 or 4 plays that if we could correct each game, we have a different record. So we're approaching it. We watch film. We break it down. In fact, we have another film session again tonight. We'll break it down again and go over our mistakes and make. Like I told the guys last night, hey, we're throwing caution to the wind, and we have nothing to lose, so let's fly around and have some fun. And we saw that last night in practice, and I think the guys understand that, and they know what's ahead of us. So we're just looking forward to it, excited, and just let the chips fall where they may.
Awesome. Well, Coach, best of luck again this weekend. Kickoff is this Saturday, July 11th at the Sonntag Center. The Eau Claire Axemen taking on the Nebraska Siege. Best of luck, Coach, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you for doing this, and thank you to all of our sponsors. We appreciate it, the players and the coaches alike. So come on down Saturday night, get out of the heat and cheer on the Axemen, and hopefully we can get a win for them.
Well said. All right, there's Coach Jim from the Eau Claire Axemen joining us here this morning. All right, we got to wrap up the third hour. Final hour coming up after these quick words. Happy hour is here. Serve up the beverages, right? So we appreciate you hanging out with us all morning long and for this final hour. Whether you're listening on the radio dials, you got a couple of those, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available to stream up online, sportstalk1051.com. And you've got, of course, your smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa devices, and the app, and the YouTube video stream. Don't forget to ring that bell and follow the YouTube page. Just look up my name, Dan Kasper with a K, and there you have it. So, also, Man Cave Podcast. Don't forget to follow that. We're gonna, if you missed our conversation with Ty from Slab Factory, those convos, they will be available on the Man Cave Podcast. So make sure you're following that. And if you could, give a 5-star rating and a positive review, because it helps the algorithms, the computer people or whatever. It helps people find the podcast a little bit later on. So baseball-wise, Brewers back at it, 6:45 tonight. So you could catch the game on your radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Pre-game coverage set to begin at about 35 minutes prior, so about 6:10. 6-10. Can the Brewers pick up another win, their fourth in a row against the Cardinals in this 5-game series? We shall see. But you were talking about grades, too, from ESPN there, Lucas. Packers, no surprise. Or Packers, Brewers, no surprise, A+. With that, on pace for 101 wins.
Best ever pace. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I'm a big believer in this number. I know some people kind of go back and forth on it, but as they said, run differentials don't lie. And they've got one of the best in Major League Baseball too, even though they don't hit a ton of home runs. But
yeah, and yet Kurt Hogg keeps posting this online. It feels like this team just isn't doing that well of late. But the end result is they're one of the best teams in baseball. I guess both can be true. I don't think, I think this is more a case like with the recent Brewers of the past 3 weeks or so. I think they're in a bit of a slump that's still kind of working out, as opposed to underlying numbers that are going to catch up to the team. I think if they have comparable offensive weakness come playoff time, of course, it's going to be another quick ending. But, yeah, they probably do need to, we talked about this earlier about the trade deadline. Now we're getting closer, like really close. They probably need to add more power if they can.
right.
But I think overall, I think they're constructed fairly well, that given the right breaks, understanding the vagaries of the postseason, I think they might be able to do something if everyone stays healthy. Of course, caveat, which applies to literally every team. I just got done reading Moneyball for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is the book better than the movie?
I saw the movie, though it's been a while since I've seen it. I think the book is better because there are more storylines involved. You get the authenticity, and Billy Beane really comes across as like, he doesn't seem that likable.
Oh, so Brad Pitt didn't really nail it?
I don't think, I was like, how is Michael Lewis surviving all of these interviews? Bean seems like a full-on jerk. I don't know that he actually is, but that's the impression you get with all of his. I mean, he's got a temper. At least he had one. I don't know if he still does. But the reason I bring up Moneyball in particular here, because of course that the book changed the game. I mean, I don't know if the book had not happened, would every other team have ignored analytics? Probably not. But given how significant that was, it was like, okay, let's go back and reread the whole thing, the whole analytical approach. That's kind of where a lot of it originated with the A's approach of the early aughts. But as they say towards the end, the playoffs are pretty much completely different. And essentially they admitted, I think it was between Bean or Paul DePodesta, who, if you recall, was the assistant before he went on to all the rest of his career. The analytical approach, it wasn't called analytics at the time, but that's what we essentially say now. Sabermetrics was referenced. So they kind of intertwine. This is great for the regular season, and that gets you to the postseason, and then you see what happens. The vagaries of the postseason, which we talked about so many times, they knew that back then, back in 2002. We could do all this stuff. We can break out all the data that all the other teams back then didn't want to look at. They do now. But the postseason is going to be totally different. The end result for the A's, one and done. I remember that series very well. I remember, are the Twins going to blow it? Are they going to blow it? I can still remember that final out in Game 5, beating the A's, going on to the ALCS. And the A's were probably the better team, but it didn't work. That's the playoffs. We've seen that so many times. So fast forward now to 2026. Maybe this is the year the Brewers actually have it. Even if they don't have the power, maybe their pitching does get them on a run. We don't know. So to get yourself in the best possible position in the regular season, and they're at a good position to do that.
Yeah. I can't believe that there are some people on here, but there are some MLB writers, Dan Clark, that had an issue with Jackson Chourio last night batting left-handed.
Is it because of the integrity of the game and don't show up your opponent?
He goes, boomer take alert, but I'll own it 100%.
Okay. Well, he acknowledges it.
Jackson Churio is not a left-handed hitter. He never has been. Yet last night he batted left-handed in the ninth. Playing MLB should never be trivial. Many guys bust their butts for years and never get the opportunity. Terrible look. Well, then I'm sorry. Don't have a position player be lofting and pitches at the end.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the same thing?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I get it, but come on.
Could you have like a reserve squad for if you really do run out of pitchers that you could have one? You have like one person from the minors who is designated to only come in a game where there is like really set the rules of like there has to be like an 8-run differential in the 8th inning or later with no relief pitchers actually available, and then that one guy comes out. Now that would be a more integrity-based approach that would respect people that are grinding to get up to the majors and have that one guy right there. But if you're going to have a position player go out, well, okay, fine, have another position player bat opposite-handed.
Yeah.
Cool.
The dude also hit it 360 feet on the first pitch. So
right.
That's the other. I mean, granted, I know it wasn't like a 95-mile-an-hour slider or whatever.
This wasn't John Kruk against Randy Johnson in the All-Star game.
Right.
We're all having a joke with it. It wasn't fully serious, no, okay, but it wasn't a complete joke.
Here's my thing. What's worse? Jackson Churio going up there left-handed and taking a swing on the first pitch, or hard you-know-what guy saying, I'm going to take a walk because these pitches stink. You know what I mean? Like, right. Oh, nope, not swinging on this, and we're just going to walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. What's worse?
Right. Well, and then the game never ends.
Right. And you're showing up the position player guy, just that's trying to get through this thing.
There are plenty of examples, the ones we don't hear about because everyone just kind of collectively decides it, and you don't see a visual cue of players that find ways to get games done.
Right.
They're like, okay, we're just gonna let's just swing a little extra, get some extra outs. We can wrap this thing up. Come on, it's a blowout. That's not integrity of the game. That's where some minor leaguers probably like, give me a chance. I'd like to be there right now. I'd like to have my opportunity. But that's been happening for decades in baseball. Mm-hmm. Well, it happens in every sport towards the end. It's garbage time. Why do you think they call it garbage time?
Right. I was actually kind of surprised they threw in a position player at that point, like 10-2. I get it. But
yeah,
it's like,
that was the other thing. I thought, you can overcome leads like that. Yeah. I mean, unless the Cardinals really knew the vibe was so off and their player, and it was a second game of a doubleheader, so maybe that all explains it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was a little surprised by that too. I would have thought like a 14-1 kind of game would make more sense.
They threw the towel in pretty early on that one.
So, okay.
But whatever.
They're a bit of a youngerish team, I guess. I don't
know. Okay, tell you what, let's take a quick break. I want to get back to a little bit more soccer talk, some more baseball as we wrap up the last 45 minutes. We'll be right back after these few words. I just I want to get back to some soccer chat here for a sec, because I know Team USA's out, but we had, kind of a historic comeback yesterday with Argentina and Messi over Egypt.
And VAR.
Yeah. For those who maybe aren't the biggest soccer fans and such, what's a comparison for Messi? Okay, like, is he the Tom Brady? Is he the Jordan? Jordan? Okay. Yeah. So he's above Ronaldo. Is Ronaldo LeBron?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The limit, again, I always qualify when you're looking to who you follow on social media. That's your choice. It's your bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you try to make a point of let's diversify, you still are making your own choice as opposed to a very definite broad, everyone's going to get the perspective. But I was getting very strong anti-Ronaldo vibes, like, oh, darn, I guess he's going to have to go get some more plastic surgery now.
Okay.
Someone posted a picture of that statue that really does not look like him at all. Like, in 10 years, he's going to actually look like that.
Yeah. That's when you said the plastic, that's where my mind instantly went, was that bust or that statue of his. Yeah. That.
Yeah. Again, it's like, it looked bad at the time, but maybe it was prescient. Definitely. I mean, there's a dislike for him that you don't see for Messi. I mean, Messi is wowing people. I would say maybe Wayne Gretzky as well, in terms of like, oh my gosh, how does he keep doing this stuff now? In Gretzky's case, that was more earlier in his career. Mm-hmm. Messi is doing this so late in his career. It's where he had a little bit of the Jordan stuff, I think. Of course, 90s Jordan. We're not talking Wizards.
When the second part of the
right, but where he was still doing stuff up through the end of the Bulls run. Mm-hmm. You're like, how does he keep doing that? I think that's probably the best one. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the goals that he gets, he's just like, he's always in the right place at the right time. Of course, because he's a soccer. He really is a soccer genius.
Is there can USA ever get to pass the round of 16? Are they trending in a good direction right now, do you think? Or is it still neutral? I mean, are they going to change coaches again and try to figure this out? I mean, I saw a stat that I'm blanking on the guy's name who's the coach right now, but he's already got the most wins for Team USA as a head coach in the World Cup. Or tied?
Yeah,
with his first year.
I mean, it also helps that you have extra rounds.
Okay.
Too. Because there was a round of 30, they expanded it this year. So, of course, that's going to help. But going through the story today, yeah, Pochettino. But the problem with Team USA, Ryan O'Hanlon wrote this up, was reading this morning, again at ESPN. That he had a deep dive that it's really not him. It is the players. A lot of them underwhelmed at the wrong time or aren't good enough. Like,
I was just going to say, is it a talent problem?
Yeah, it was going through the list of the players, like Matt Freese, MLS-style player. Okay, he's not going to be playing Champions League or even Premier League soccer. Tim Ream, 38. I know you got a lot of older ones that are good, but he's been around a long time. Christian Pulisic, what are we doing here? Like, he's supposed to be the megastar of this team.
Perfect Wednesday. What are we doing here? So that's our theme for Wednesday.
I know.
Yeah.
What? Balogun, of course, we knew that. I mean, he was good at times, but it's just not quite. The best guy is Freeman, probably.
Antonio's kid?
Uh-huh. And as O'Hanlon said, he's probably the guy that maybe 4 years from now will be coming off of a run with a really good international team when he's playing for Team USA. But he might be the one. The quality still isn't there. That story made a point of reminding that I want to find the exact stat here. It was once put Giovanni Trapattoni, who's won a lot of big soccer matches internationally. Said his quote was, "A good manager makes a team 10% better, and a bad manager makes it 30% worse." So if you don't have the talent, like, hey, I've got a good manager right now. That article also said, like, hey, we went all analytical to where do the stats take us? Well, the stats may take you right back to him. So then what? I don't think it's the manager. I don't think we need to go through another reimagining of the U.S. men's national team. It's that
Is it talent development or recruiting talent?
I think it's talent development, because it's not like what we see in college sports a lot. Like when you say that, my first thought goes to the border battle. Think, and I know this especially, of like all the Minnesota basketball talent goes for Wisconsin and all the other places, and the Gophers are always meh. They could be really good, but they can't keep their folks there. That's not the case with younger soccer talent. It's not like they're all going over to Europe, down to Brazil, and to Mexico, and they're going to other places, and they're not. Well, plus they'd be able to probably come back home. It's a matter of, can you claim the United States to play for your team?
Yeah.
They're playing, and this isn't like some weird Olympic loophole of like, yeah, I had a father's brother's cousin once spent a little bit of time in this obscure island, so I'm going to go play for them. Which the odd up, that's fine. But it's not like they're doing that en masse. They're still playing for Team USA. It's the development, and I don't think the development's still there. We're still trying to catch up to cultures that have fine-tuned soccer for decades and decades and decades. It's the reverse of finding out, when is Switzerland going to catch up to the United States with American football? Maybe they could. I'm just throwing that out as a random country. They could, but we've had decades and decades and decades of building up American football players to play that particular sport. Of course, we're going to have an advantage. The other places are going to have an advantage. The pro teams are going to have advantages. They have their academies, all of that. It's better. So I think we can get to the round of 8. Team USA, that same story that I keep citing from Ryan O'Hanlon, I would encourage anyone to read that, because it's deep divey, but also it kind of covers a lot of the bases there. It's one person's perspective, but there's a lot of data.
It's not, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like, because I'm trying to go with the comparison, American football is, I mean, we're going to find out in the Olympics just how dominant it is for flag football, I think.
We think.
But, you know, like I go back to Team USA for basketball when it was down. And then you had the dream team kind of they did all. But you can't really do that with soccer, right? I mean, it's not like the pros aren't playing. There's no Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and all those guys that
they're
you can
all
recruit.
there.
And, right? So it's not something like that. Even like I'll say World Baseball Classic or TV. I mean, they made the finals. It's just baseball is more of a world. I mean, there's other countries it's
international,
really
and that's why Team USA doesn't do as well, because, well, my gosh, we know this. All the international players that play. There could be other dynamics do the international players taken more seriously, because we've seen the legendary, like the Caribbean World Series. See some of those playoffs during the offseason, hot stove. You've ever seen those highlights? And if anyone hasn't, watch. They take that very seriously, but they also have a lot of fun. Whereas it seems like Team USA, we Americans, don't get too much into this. Come on, folks. I see, we're back to the dreaded 2010s Atlanta Braves unwritten rules, don't do anything approach. I think that was some criticism of Team USA this year. But I don't want to clown too much on Aaron Judge, but remember when, what was it? Was it Bryce Harper or who was it that hit like a big home run, and Judge is like, "Whoa, settle down. Like, what?" The other teams are going nuts, and we're like, chill out. Come on, let's keep the straight demeanor right here.
Well, would you say baseball is a little bit more of the what's the word I'm looking for from an international standpoint? Even talent-wise?
Yes.
It's the P word that I'm trying to
parity.
Parity, thank you. Parity.
Baseball, you've got a fair amount of that.
Hockey, I know a few, but
it's more of a handful.
Same with basketball, I would say, on the Olympic stage.
Yeah, I mean, the United States is
if they throw their A team out there.
Well, okay, A, you got to get everyone to play.
Yeah.
But B, the international approach is getting better and better. Now, there's that's probably I'd say that's the more interesting one about talent development. The talent, or maybe I should say ability development, skill development. That's the best way to put it. The talent is there in Team USA, or I should say with American basketball players. It's the best way to play the sport is the question, where the international players seem to have broader skill sets. Mm-hmm. The American players seem to be more focused on highlights, get the chip, all of that. And then when it really counts, maybe you don't know as much anymore. Is that a development thing? It's really starting to become more present there. We're squandering an advantage that the United States should have in basketball. I think that's a growing concern. Compared to soccer, that's one where we're catching up, and we could get there. Belgium was not favored. Team USA was. Yeah. So in that regard, we kind of were there to go to the final 8. So I don't think we're that far off. I don't remember if we were favored in the other round of 16 times before. I don't think so. But
was it Germany the last time?
Yeah, and then go back to 94. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the fact that Team USA was favored means the ability to get there exists. It's going to have to work. It's an ongoing project is probably the best way to put it. It is good to see more and more players going to play in international soccer. That's the best stamp of approval. They're going for only the best. Well, if the best come from America, that's good signs. There's some of that. But overall, infrastructure-wise, it's an ongoing project. But I wouldn't be surprised if as early as 2030 they move on to the round of 8. Of course, knowing how they tend to go back and forth, I also wouldn't be surprised if they don't get past the...
So why is the women's team so much better?
I think we took women's soccer more seriously than internationally. I think that built up through the high schools. Like I remember in the mid-'90s, I'm sure anyone listening right now probably remembers, you might have had a really good women or girls soccer team at your high school 20, 30-ish years ago. I remember classmates at Memorial High School that were pretty decent soccer players by Eau Claire High School standards, but that was a thing in 1995, 96. This was not, as I recall, I don't think it was like a response to the World Cup. No, it just built up. And we built up that infrastructure. We had enough talent. We had enough interest that superseded the rest of the world. The rest of the world is starting to catch up more, but fair enough. It's spreading around the world. But women's soccer never was really a thing internationally. I guess the same applies to a lot of other ones.
Would that be like women's softball?
Kind of, yeah. It's like, I mean, okay, we'll go there. I don't think the idea of women playing sports was considered that important for a long time. I don't think that's really a hot take. I don't think that's really like, ooh, social. Duh. And look at what was going on in the 1930s, 1950s, 19-teens. No, it was the guys play sports and the women by and large don't, with some exceptions. Culturally, we didn't take it as seriously. And then we did. And in some ways, the United States brought it on even more. I think Title IX probably helped a lot with that. Well, the end result is women's basketball, softball, women's soccer. And we're dominating with that, and that's pretty cool that we can say that. But the other sports where men were playing more, and this gets globally too, because again, around the world, you didn't see that happening. You're seeing more. Each one is at their own pace of catching up to the others.
Yeah, interesting. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back, though, after these few words. Again, Brewers back at it tonight, 6:45. First pitch on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior, so 10 after 6 this evening. The fourth game of this 5-game series with the Cardinals, and then Brewers are going to be back on the road taking on the Pirates. I feel like they always end with the Pirates before the All-Star break, or they play the Pirates right after the All-Star break.
Like playing the Lions or the Bears for the Packers at the end of the regular season.
That or the Vikings around hunting season.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah,
that always seems to sync up that way.
Yeah, but I mean, you got Jacob Mizorowski yesterday in the doubleheader that he went 7 innings, picked up the 10th win. Robert Gasser looked good. Joey Ortiz actually had 5 hits yesterday. That dude is actually hitting now, so maybe the move to third base was good.
That's good.
With that too. But Luis Lara making his debut yesterday. Be interesting to see how that rotation in the outfield goes. It's pretty deep right now with Cheerio.
Prospects, or maybe I shouldn't say prospects, but prospective trade bait there, maybe.
Better not be Sal, but I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous now? I mean, granted, Sal Frelick hasn't had the biggest amount of wow moments of late, but why would you be concerned about your boy, Sal?
Because Garrett Mitchell's playing a lot better. He's got more power than Sal Frelick does. I think we're seeing the version of Garrett Mitchell that everybody wanted to see last year, replacing Willie Adames with the power part of that lineup. Sal, I think, to me, Sal's a better defender. Obviously, he has a Gold Glove to it. I just think the offensive abilities for Garrett Mitchell is higher than Sal Frelick is, and that's what worries me. I know Lara is more of a center fielder by trade, but I mean, they can figure it out. So I just that makes me nervous. If it's from an offensive standpoint, it makes me nervous for Sal Frelick.
What have we been saying? What do they probably need? Offense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm definitely nervous, even though he is a Pat Murphy guy.
Okay, so let's game out the Sal Frelick trade here.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Who are they targeting? Who would you say right now is a good target? Sal Frelick, Minnesota Twin?
For who?
Byron Buxton?
Nathan? Or, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
I'll take him. Hey, cool. You can send over your Sal Frelick to
that would
my
be
camp.
one where I would be worried about chemistry. If we're worried about team chemistry and that with the Brewers, which I think is very high, and I would trust Murphy to keep that, but that would be one from a player personality
because
and
of Frelick's
good
chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
but
I think they'd be able to overcome it, but it would be maybe initially kind of a shock.
What was the year that? Now I'm trying to remember. Was this something we were speculating about, or was this something that actually happened? About the Brewers bringing in someone who maybe didn't have the best chemistry, but the idea was they will find a way to work it out.
Was it the Manny Machado?
Maybe it was around that time. I'm going so far back as to think of Yasiel Puig.
Oh, that might have been one too. The whole Ryan Braun and
could they
Puig,
do that?
That might have been one.
Would that be okay?
I think you're right. I think it was Puig.
But we're also getting into different levels of decision making, different people for decision making. This is not the Matt Arnold, Pat Murphy era of who are we bringing in. So they may have a different take on who they can acquire, who would be good. I mean,
we saw the effects of trading Josh Hader and how that screwed up the clubhouse.
That also was under Counsell and Stearns. That also may have been a trade that they actually did need to make, and it just so happened to mess up the chemistry. But what was your other option? You're going to lose Hader for nothing, probably.
I think the part, though, was just the timing of it all.
Yeah. I think it was one of those, the timing was bad, but I also don't know. I mean, unless you went much earlier, I don't know that there was much you could do about it. It was going to be bad anyway.
I think it was just your first place, you're in the post, and then you're doing it at that, and it was.
And they barely miss.
Yeah.
Interesting thing, though, like we were saying earlier about Buxton and chemistry. I'm just using that as a good local example. If you did Frelick for Buxton, I think you keep your chemistry intact. I think your chemistry maybe goes up a little bit. Maybe Buxton would have to obviously waive his no trade. So if you're like, he doesn't want to leave the Twins, well, he would have to, at that point, have gotten to decide, I want to leave. And actually, way the Twins are playing, I don't think he's going to be waiving that.
Yeah.
I don't think even if the poll ads come to him, I don't think he's going to be waiving that right now.
Yeah.
So,
But that's another center fielder, and that's where the Brewers actually have some depth now.
Right.
Or is it the whole Garrett Mitchell, kind of the Caleb Durbin, Isaac Collins thing where maybe they sell high and don't think, is this the peak where it's not going to get any better?
well,
That could
that's
be
the
the other part.
evaluation question on Matt Arnold's part. And I think they've done a pretty good job. So I guess here comes the question: do you want a certain player on the team, or do you want the team to have the best shot of winning? Which usually it's, well, you want the team. But if it involves a favorite player, that gets a little dicey. But usually the Brewers' moves have usually worked out. I saw the stat the other day that in the Freddie Peralta trade, no one at least as of like 3 days ago, no one has a positive WAR.
Oh, really?
There were like a couple of them. I think this season, Freddie Peralta's at 0, and
But where's the arrow going? Which one would you feel better about the trajectory? Is it Freddie Peralta or Brandon Sproat? I kind of would go Sproat at this point.
Yeah,
And we haven't seen Jet Williams yet. So.
right. I mean, yeah. If you'd asked me this a month and a half ago, I'd be like,
Think about this, though. Okay, so that was Freddie Peralta, an all-star. Brewers get Sproat and Jet Williams in return. And remember, Brewers also traded Tobias Myers to the Mets as part of that. Whereas the Red Sox deal was 3 third basemen, Caleb Durbin, Andrew Monasterio, and Anthony Siegler for Kyle Harrison, David Hamilton, and Shane Drowan. You got Kyle Harrison and Shane Drowan, who are looking to be pretty darn good pitchers right now.
Yeah.
And it was that deal over, the Mets one that maybe got the highest return at this point in time.
well,
And Jet Williams might be a trade target, too, for somebody else because of all the depth they've
take
got.
one guy, move him to the other. You know how trading works around. I think again that speaks to Arnold sussing stuff out. Well, also I think it speaks a little bit to the Red Sox getting fleeced by the Brewers. This is a thing. It'd be cool if Freddie Peralta were still a Brewer right now, but I don't think this isn't.
They don't miss him.
Yeah, it's not like a take to say they don't need him right now. Duh, they don't need him. They're in good shape right now. So I kind of trust they're going to make probably the best move that they possibly can make at the deadline. And as long as much as we always worry that Jacob Mizorowski's arm is going to go flying off at a certain point, you have what you have. I don't know that you can get many better pitchers. Now I think Skubal's less likely to go the way the Tigers have been trending upwards of late. I don't know that I would go so far as to say Skubal is now unlikely to be traded, but the chances are going down, and I don't see the Brewers making a move. No. But for power hitting, I still think that's out there, and that's where we go back to who's your best trade bait.
Yeah.
And it might be, maybe it is like a Frelick, just to use 2 names we mentioned, Williams and Frelick. What kind of a return do you think those 2 could get?
Williams probably more, I would think, a little bit more, just because of the unknown factor.
Could you combine the 2 and get a really...
I think so. You got a Gold Glove young outfielder,
and that might give you the prowess. So maybe something like that's floating out there in the next few weeks.
All right, we got to take our final break. We'll be back with some picks coming up after these quick words. All right, wrapping up this nonsense. We've got some picks to get to here, so let's jump right into it in the baseball world. We've got today Toronto taking on the Giants. Dylan Cease versus Logan Webb.
Oh, boy.
That's a decent one.
That's a really good one. I'll take San Francisco.
I'm going to go Toronto. I'll go with the Blue Jays. How about the Cubbies versus Baltimore?
I'll take Chicago.
Yeah, I'll go Cubs too. How about Athletics and the Tigers?
I'll take Detroit.
I'll go Athletics for this one. Let's do Braves Pittsburgh.
Bravos.
Yeah, Braves. Pittsburgh got their game last night with Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
So, and helps when O'Hearn hits 3 home runs. So
Also true.
Yankees versus the Rays.
I'll take the Rays.
I'm gonna go Yankees. Got Garrett Cole on this one, so we'll see. But Tampa Bay did get the win yesterday. We've got Mariners versus the Marlins.
The Mariners and the Marylands.
Yeah.
I'll take Miami.
I'll go Seattle. Houston versus the Nationals.
I'll take Washington.
I'll go Washington too. How about Philadelphia versus Cincinnati? Chase Burns going for Cincinnati.
Okay.
Says undecided for Philly right now.
I'll take Cincy.
I'll go with I'm gonna go with Cincy too. Let's go Kansas City versus the Mets.
Underwhelming this season between those two. I'll go with the Mets. Why not?
I'll go Kansas City. How about the Red Sox and the White Sox?
White Sox.
Yeah, I'll go White Sox too. We've got Angels and Rangers.
Rangers.
Diamondbacks, Padres in a
Pods.
critical series.
I'll go Pods.
I'll go Padres too. We've got Colorado versus the Dodgers.
I'll take Los Angeles.
I'll take the Dodgers too. And then finally, we've got Brewers and the Cardinals. Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Brewers. Michael McGreevy going for the Cardinals.
St. Louis.
I'm going Kyle Harrison. Brewers get their 4th straight win.
Okay. I'll say there's little bits of concern about Harrison start to come out in the wake of this. Little bits. Not like, oh my gosh, he's lost it, but
Okay.
like maybe completely off the Cy Young watch.
Okay.
Completely off.
All right.
I don't want that to happen, but I'm just going to throw that out as a prediction.
Okay.
Bold
That's
predictions.
fair. That's fair. All right. I get you. So we don't have any World Cup games today, do we?
Today is a no soccer day.
All right. So what's
Recovery after yesterday.
So our next one's tomorrow.
Yes.
France versus Morocco.
England, Norway is going to be fun because those are 2 of my 3 favorite teams. Now that Team USA is out, and
Is Norway a surprise team right now? Or
not entirely
really?
because of Erling Haaland.
Is that
He's
the
one
guy
of the
that's
best
like,
in the world.
Okay.
So I mean,
Is there any surprise team left?
not really. It's
Okay.
kind of. I mean, I guess you could say Team USA would have been the surprise, but again, based on the rankings, like Cape Verde clearly would have been one, but that's obviously not the case. So now we've got a lot of the usual suspects. Probably the bigger thing is who's not there. I mean, but yeah. Spain, Belgium, France, Morocco, Norway, England, Argentina. Switzerland, maybe they have kind of one of the better pathways so far, but that's going to get cut off pretty soon, I think.
What's the best matchup coming up here that's remaining?
Probably. I mean, I'm getting drawn to Norway, England for the reason I just said.
That looks like it's the closest one with the
that's
odds.
the other thing.
Yeah.
I think it's based on the personnel involved. Can Holland really almost single-handedly bring Norway past England? And that's definitely possible. So I think that's probably the closest matchup. I think Spain's going to have their way with Belgium. France should get past Morocco, I think. I think Argentina now, that's one of those where the vibes are with them. So I think that I keep waiting for England to have one of its, of course, underwhelming performances, because that's how they always go. It's coming home. No, it's not. Maybe this is when Norway gets along. So I think my picks right now are France, Spain, Argentina, and Norway to advance to the Final Four to mixed sports.
Tickets are not cheap for these games.
Nope,
They're,
and I understand.
Yeah, they're well over $1,000. The cheapest one I'm looking at ESPN right now is France and Morocco. Tickets as low as $1,049.
All right. I hope you bought your tickets by now.
Yeah. Most expensive is Norway in England.
Yeah.
$1,847.
Hey, by the way, locally, so what? I know the Cavs night tonight. That's where I'm wearing my Greatest Hits 98.1 shirt because, weather permitting, we're going to be there at 7 o'clock tonight, so you might see me at the game. But Northwoods League All-Star game, I think, is tonight at the Field of Dreams.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
And the Express have the most players.
6. That is so cool.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Have you been there since you went to
I have never
you
been
went to
there.
college in Iowa? And you did?
It's further away than you'd think.
Okay.
And I mean, Luther is right over the border from Minnesota. Dyersville's still a little ways down. You got to plan that out a bit more.
Okay.
That's not really a day trip from Eau Claire, but at some point I got to go. Or I will change that at some point.
Yeah. All right. Shot clock is going to cut us off. So have tomorrow, Thursday. So your homework assignments, do your 3 up, 3 downs, and your MI wrongs. Come up with those. And then come up with any questions you may have for Mr. Jake Bilks, our DNR warden, for our Tailgate Outdoors chat tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. We'll be back at it, same place, same time tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. See you then.